We are live. Welcome back, gentlemen. Last time on Traveler, you guys had kind of an intermission episode, and you did amazing things, and you guys should talk about the amazing things you did. Let's start with Ghost.
Well, Zigzag took you guys on a fishing expedition to hunt down a luminous... Oh man, what was it called? Crown, thank you. And it ended quite like a Jaws movie, with Bart shooting a tank full of oil and blowing the thing up, and then we ate it to victory. It was a sweet deep sea fishing trip that almost ended terribly.
It was a horribly planned deep sea fishing trip that almost ended terribly.
We almost all died because the thing was huge and smart.
All right, Rex.
We did research.
Give me your take on the trip, because you two basically tag teamed that one.
It was a great time. You have a bunch of non-sailing people going deep sea fishing for a very intelligent, dangerous creature, in horrible weather conditions in the middle of the ocean. It was a sequence of bad decisions that we made it through because of my buddy Grim and his ability to dive under the water and fix sonar and all this while we were harpooning the giant fish thing, and then eventually, as previously discussed, shooting an oil barrel and blowing it up and having a yummy lunch on the way back to port.
So Dubs, what's your take on the scenario? Also, Kizik, you're up next.
Well, Reese actually learned that he does not like the taste of seawater when he was tossed off the ship, but definitely has some experience treading some water and trying to get a hold of life preservers to get back on the boat. But he did get a chance to shoot a spear gun, which was great. Well, not a spear gun, but a big spear gun on the back of the ship. But that was a lot of fun. And the fish did taste good, but I am glad to be back on track.
Okay. Harpoon gun, I think, is the term you're looking for.
Absolutely. Yep, that's it.
Those are the words. Kizik.
Just the deep sea fishing. I was very out of my element. I tried to make we made some lures and tried to pull it up to the top, and I think it successfully worked. But I can't prove that the super smart fish didn't use the lures to attack us instead of us catching it. I'm not very good at making bombs, I remember that, but I tried my best, and I mean, it still was the thing that might have blown it up, but and the big, like, the whole point of doing it, the fish didn't taste very good.
So you don't have to just talk about the fishing trip. You're more than welcome to talk about the other thing.
We don't have to.
We continued our series of horrible decisions.
Oh no, I had a great time with the robot fighting league fights. That was a great time. We got to gamble a little bit and use traps, and we watched the butler go undefeated.
Yeah, against lots of like police officers and local people. And almost us. Mostly because of dumb decisions on our part.
I sure am thankful, though, that Kizik's character, Dr. Otto, actually had a remote control kill switch. Was actually very nice.
I discovered it. I've thought a lot more about it. I'm pretty sure that there's some kind of virus that I don't know. I'm still not certain. I think it's a virus. There's no way that the malicious ghost lady would. Oh man. Sorry, I needed to mute myself. I heard myself twice. There's no way the malicious goat lady wanted to kill all of those police officers, unless she was really mad at me for stealing the thing. But I think she said that I could steal the thing. I don't know. I'm like a wanted person. No, legally I've been amended. I've studied a lot of computers since then, and oh man, I feel terrible. Maybe I should have stopped it before. I thought I don't even know. But yeah, I made a killer robot, and it decimated our place where we come to blow off steam and feel safe. And I no longer feel safe because I created a thing that killed a bunch of people. But the deep sea fishing was fun, right?
Don't forget flying lessons. One of us definitely tried to fly.
That is true.
Yeah, that was good. That was true.
I think next time I'm going to try wearing wings.
That seems like a good choice because the GM isn't giving you any freebie saving throws.
That was a really dumb decision. But it's given me some inspiration. I'm gonna look back at the wings that I've got.
Okay.
I remember hearing some really old stories about this. These characters called Rocky and Bullwinkle, and that just kind of flashed in my mind as Zigzag decided to do the flying leap.
I think I wanted to face gravity more than I wanted to face the killer robot that Dr. Otto unleashed on the university.
Well, we're all scientific minds, right? We want to prove the law of gravity, right?
That's right.
You know what's really fun? You guys just deactivated that robot, but you never followed up to see what happened to it. And governments are famous, especially military dictatorships, for not pursuing incredibly dangerous pieces of technology that they don't understand.
Oh, great. That's not going to come back to haunt us.
Yes, Ghost, but aren't you glad it wasn't you this time?
Yeah, I am.
So, go ahead, Kizik.
I still have that kill code, right? It's on Thodubs' phone.
Yes, air quotes. Thodubs' phone. Did you ever give that back?
I actually didn't yet. I still have it in my pocket.
No. I was asking Kizik if he gave you your phone back because it wasn't called out.
I will give him a new phone.
This isn't the one I had. All right, so you gentlemen had your little adventure. You get a email from the university stating that you should report to a shuttle pad that's going to take you to the space dock to see the Borealis' refit. You all gather excitedly at the launch, at the shuttle pad, and the launch takes you up to orbit. You fly amongst the various shipyards, see all the ships being worked on, and for some of the more technically minded of you, this might seem like a, fascinating or at least entertaining experience. As you roll up on the Borealis, one of the first things that is evident is it's had a significant paint job and cosmetic upgrade on top of other things. The entire hull has been repainted in this matte white. The highlights have been done in blue and greens that match the blue and greens of a Aurora Borealis. The ship itself also appears to have some more technical upgrades, although you can't quite put your finger on everything by looking at it on the outside. As the ship pulls into dock and you are allowed to go into the viewing gallery next to the ship, you are greeted by the crew you recently hired. We have Mike Coleman, the hunter, Tina Ryan, the scavenger and mechanic, Cal Valmish, who is going to go by Hal for simplicity's sake amongst humans, the WAP, we'll just say negotiator, joined the team, and a decent steward, and Captain Alara Vorshtara, who is Sarah Tass's aunt and a famed starship captain and pilot. They all seem rather proud of the ship and are more than ready to take you on a tour. Tina hands whoever the first player to walk up a copy of her tech manual and says, "I want this back, but feel free to flip through. I've made some modifications, and I've cataloged those modifications in this book." So I put a copy between each of your character sheets, just like I did with the interviewees from last time, so that you can flip through. The very first page is your new stat sheet for Borealis. Now, I've included in this thing as a state the old stat sheet in case we have to reference the back of it, but these are the stats for your ship. So these are the stats you will use when doing things with the ship. Now, since you have a NPC who can do most of the things that you need to do, you may or may not have to use this all that often, but you may want to familiarize yourself with all the cool gadgets and gizmos that are available here. On the page after that, you'll see a quick rundown of the 4 unique upgrades that the Borealis has received for hiring each of these people, basically. I didn't tell you when you were going through the hiring process, but each of these people that you could hire came with a unique upgrade. I'll give you guys a second to look that over. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves or to the crew as you guys are led on a tour of the ship.
Tina, the paint job looks great. These upgrades are amazing too. I had no idea we had enough room up front for that cargo bay, and that turret looks menacing.
Tina gives you a look. She's like, we had a 7-ton cargo bay already. The concealed compartment takes one of those 7 tons, and that was mostly Hal's doing. And Hal's like, yes. You mentioned during our interview that we may need to move things without the authorities intercepting them. So I built a fake air conditioner unit, and it's a sliding door, and behind it we have about a ton's worth of cargo space.
Well, that's great. Good thinking.
Indeed, I even wired with Tina's help, the electronics for the room's life support do actually run through the false panels. So if someone scans it, it will look as though it's active equipment.
And Tina, you did the computer core.
She's like, yeah, I'm not much of a computer person myself, so I just got the university's credit card and bought anything I could get my hands on. The upgraded ship's computer I salvaged off of a warship that is being decommissioned. Nobody noticed. But we have a significant bandwidth upgrade, which is fortunate because the electronic warfare suite and the launch solution targeting computer are quite hefty. We still won't have enough bandwidth to run all of this at the same time, though.
Did you scan it for viruses? Oh, it does have.
There's security 2 is our antivirus and firewall, and it's running on the system by default most of the time.
Yep. Yeah. This is really amazing. You guys have worked really hard over the last month. Thank you.
Mike is like, yeah, that quad turret, she's hungry for power, but I noticed you had a pretty significant power plant, so as long as we're not trying to fight and jump, I didn't see where adding a little bit of extra firepower couldn't hurt.
Yes, I see our power plant can't really power everything at the same time, everybody. We're about 4 points shy.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Also, it's not unusual for ships to have to juggle, especially the jump drive. Generally, the jump drive is the thing that isn't doing anything unless you're charging. That's pretty normal for starships. But we did go from being able to handle everything because we didn't have any weapons to being able to not necessarily fire everything. But it's worth noting that 4 of your power points are also your laser drill, which you're not necessarily going to be using. It's not 12 or 0. Your beam lasers and your laser drill each take 4 points of power. So by cutting one of them off, you should be able to run just about everything. You don't need fuel processors running at the same time either.
Right.
So we should be able to flick a few systems off and then get by. Of course, if you do want to use the laser drill as a close-in weapon, obviously it does quite a bit of damage, but you've got to be at knife fighting range.
Captain Foshtara, can you tell us about this stealth coating?
Oh, indeed. The Esperanza Scout Service had been developing this coating a few years ago. There's a more advanced version that the Scout Service recently acquired, and when they got the new version, they were just going to throw away, at least a whole ship's worth of this paint, for lack of a better term, this coating. It's one of the reasons the ship ended up being white, is that's the actual color of the coating. Anyway, I managed to procure it from the trash bin, and then have it applied to the ship. No questions asked. Obviously, I can't get more of it on demand, but as long as we don't take too significant of damage, we should have a significant advantage over any type of radar, LiDAR, or standard sensors.
Okay, that explains the white. Who did the green and the blue? That was an excellent choice.
Tina leans over and raises her hand. She's like, I love painting things.
Good choices. Good eggs all around.
So you guys do a walkthrough of the ship, and the internal structure of the ship is almost identical to what it was before. The sensor operator station now has about 6 more monitors and a whole bunch of extra computer inputs, as it is also now the electronic warfare station. Beyond that, in the giant quote-unquote air conditioner unit in the front cargo hold, it looks pretty much like it did before. If you get into the gun turret, there are hella options now. Also worth noting that the beam laser is a +4. If you use both beam lasers, that gives you an additional +1. So by default, firing the 2 beam lasers together is a DM of +5. Which should help some of you who maybe don't have that ability.
Yes, now we can boldly go where no man has gone before.
As you guys are looking at the turrets, actually, who's most likely to have jumped in the turret?
It's probably not zigzag.
Yeah,
Probably wouldn't be me.
I was thinking that, but I wanted you to say it. We'll say John slides into the turret and is like, oh man, and Captain Alara is going to kind of like climb halfway up the ladder and be like, so you may notice that there's only a secondary control for the missile rack. I've actually got that rigged to the cockpit. You can fire it, you can override it from here if you want, but you've only got 11 standard missiles instead of 12 that the magazine holds. The 12th missile is a special round I have procured. It is an artillery round, and I only want to point that out because it won't easily be usable against a spaceborne target. Pretty much anything that moves, it's very difficult to hit with this missile. This is meant for orbital bombardment. And I've put this in reserve in case you guys are on the ground and need to cover a retreat. Just understand that it's not a precision weapon.
Wow, definitely good to know. Jeez, that's great.
I just saw you jump in the gun turret, and if you think you're going to be the ones in here, and obviously we, tell the whole crew, but if you think you're going to be in here, just remember, it says you have 12 shots. You have 11 shots.
That's good to know. Good to know. Reese just starts kind of, fidgeting with all the controllers and making sure that everything feels good. And this is great. I'm excited.
She flips the master arm switch to training, and she's like, have fun, and drops down the ladder with a grace that she did not display earlier, and you realize that the gravity on the ship is actually probably only 0.8 Gs.
Interesting.
Who would we find to wear next? Who's looking at what next on the ship?
I'll be in the bridge looking at all of piloting and navigation and make sure
Okay.
none of that is.
When you walk onto the bridge, no one will say. Let's say it was dark before you came in. You walk in, and all of the new holographic controls light up. These are schmancy controls. So while there are still physical interfaces available as backups on the consoles, basically they're now hovering, holographic, easily configurable controls that can track your eye movements and the turns of your head. Gestures can control almost everything on the bridge, and the reaction time is nearly instantaneous. Holographic controls grant a +2 to any piloting maneuvers being done with the controls.
Nice.
Holy moly.
Who's next?
I want to be in the electronics suite.
Okay. You follow in behind Zane, who's, ooh, look at the controls, and you drop into the electronics warfare suite, which is this third seat here. It's also the sensor operations station, and you're just bombarded with information. Now, you have a relatively decent computer skill, correct?
I do.
So some of the things that come up, you're going to immediately recognize. Intrusion, security, decryption, and electronic warfare screens are things that you look at and you're like, I kind of understand, what this is doing. This is, about intercepting things and decoding them, and this is about jamming things, and this is about firewalls, and this is about breaking firewalls. But anti-hijack, launch solution, those are things that, you can kind of tell what they do from their description, but you have no familiarity with those systems.
Is there a right-click more information?
Sure. So if you start with anti-hijack, which is currently running by default, anti-hijack monitors the ship's status, airlocks, various other things, and will actively run interference against, say, pirates boarding the vessel. It will shut down airlock systems. It will aggravate attempts. It will alert crew to people trying to get on board. It will, as a general rule, foil any attempts to stealthily hijack the ship, whether from inside or out. Launch solution is what it sounds. Basically, launch solution 1 gives a +1 to any attempt to fire a missile at greater than, I think it's short range, but it might be medium range. Because missiles are very long-range weapons, so firing further out is more difficult. So this target computer gives you a little bit of extra oomph when trying to do that.
I've got an actual launch button here.
You don't have the actual launch button. However, holographic controls, which all of the consoles have, allow you to basically say, oh, I want that launch control button, and it doesn't quite read your mind, but it will read your voice and intuition, and you can have any control of any system from any of these controls. So if you say, ooh, can I launch from here, even just to yourself, a panel will pop up with the launch controls for the missile launcher.
Oh, escape, and I slide it away from me.
It's also worth noting that when you do that, it would probably show as locked out because someone's in the gunner seat, and the gunner seat can override the controls to all of the weapon systems, just like the helm can override controls to all of the flight systems.
There's a lot of stuff here. Zane is Zane, and I turn around. I assume he's just like me, excited about all of the holographic stuff that's popping in front of him.
Oh yeah.
Zane,
Definitely looking around, following and watching everything track as I move my head around. I'm like, ooh.
See if you can get a missile launch button to pop up to yours, Zane.
Can I get a missile launch button?
As soon as it's said, it shows up on your screen.
Oh, sweet.
Anyone who has any type of cybernetic implant, like a wafer jack or anything, also doesn't actually have to say it. They can summon it with their mind. They can even control these controls from their jack. So, what's Zigzag think of all this?
I went to the kitchen first off. Has anything changed in here?
Nothing has changed of note. I'm assuming that you had your own, like, cutlery tools and everything brought in when you moved in. If you haven't,
yes,
you'll find high-quality versions. But if you have, yours are still there. And other than the fact that it's very well stocked for a variety of different culinary needs, some of which you are familiar with, and some of which are the new dietary needs of the crew, it looks very much the same. It is pretty small, but that's to be expected on a ship this size. You guys are all basically bunking together. Speaking of which, you will find a message, Zigzag, on your tablet that have Hal saying, "Hey, as the two small people, maybe you and I should bunk together. We'll have more room."
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should go talk to Hal about that.
Okay.
I don't need much room anyway, but man, I'm so glad that no one really touched my... I had the pantry set up the way I wanted it, so... Just some new additions, I'll organize those a little bit better.
So you will find that the stuff that's been added is all not only, like, right-faced, so that you can, like, all the labels are facing exactly forward, but they're in alphabetical order.
Oh, well, okay. So, some people do know what they're doing.
There's a very
I'll go
specific
find Hal.
Individual who would do that. So you find Hal in the room that he's said, "Hey, you should bunk with me in this room." It doesn't matter which one of these it is; it can be any one of them. And as you pop your head in, he's like, "Hey, how are you doing, Professor Zigzag?" And he's got his Hawaiian shirt on, and it should still, because Zigzag's a little worldly, so he's probably familiar with WAPs well enough to know that Hal is OCD, like the best of his race, but he speaks in kind of a super chill, like, "Hey, dude, it's cool, right?" So he has a more, like, almost beach bum-ish attitude.
Hey, Hal. I forgot to ask you at the interview, but do you like coffee?
I do like stimulated beverages. Coffee is pleasant enough, but I've tried numerous different kinds of stimulants along the way. I'm more of a downer than an upper guy, but I try to do that after shifts, not before. But yeah, I like coffee. You must be a coffee aficionado then.
I've been known to brew a cup or two, but how much room do you think you're gonna need? I think, like, we could just go halvesies on this, and I'll take the top bunk. It's easy for me to get into it.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, he puts his little sticker hands up. He's like, "That would work for me too. Either way is fine." He's like, I tend to sleep in my environmental suit, and it's somewhat sound suppressed, so it's unlikely that you will be kept up by any of my nocturnal missions, since I'll be in my suit.
Okay. And just so you know, probably about 6 a.m. Galactic time, I have an uncontrollable urge to call out. Some people say that it sounds like a rooster crow. Don't mind it. It's usually just time to wake up.
That's interesting. And he's tapping furiously into this tiny little data pad he's pulled out of his shoulder. Out of his, like, shirt pocket. He's like, "I will endeavor to try to find a source of rare and exotic coffee beans for you."
Oh, that's great. Okay. It's good to have you aboard, Rumi.
Indeed. Okay. Any other interactions with the crew members that you guys want to have?
Captain Voshtara, how does the stealth coding work?
It absorbs and redirects radar and LiDAR beams as they are directed at the ship. It also helps. It's thermally insulated, so it helps reduce thermal emissions as long as we keep the emissions from the engines down to a minimum. It isn't foolproof, obviously. More advanced scanners. One of the reasons the Scout Service wanted the more advanced coating is, more advanced scanners will see through it. We're not invisible. Someone can still look at us. But it'll help, especially at range.
But it's not like an active, like we don't have to turn something on. It's just because of the physical design and chemical nature of the coating.
Yes,
it makes sense.
It's just a coating. That also means that if we are struck by ordnance, shrapnel, an asteroid, and it scrapes the paint off, that section will not have that coating.
Roger. Thank you, ma'am.
She gives you a little nod. She's like, what do you think of the controls?
I think it's going to take a little bit to get used to, but I can see how they can be super fun.
I highly suggest a wafer jack implant if you ever have the opportunity to have one installed.
Fair. I will look into that.
Okay. If no one else has any other interactions they want to have while they're getting their tour of the ship and settled in, we'll move on to the next phase. What do you guys think of the ship upgrades?
These are hella awesome.
I'm excited.
These upgrades, none of these cost any tonnage, and the only one that cost extra power were the added weapon systems.
Still, that's even better.
Yeah, and weapon systems would have cost extra power no matter what. So, you guys get a text on your phones. Thodubs pulls out it's like a pinkish purple Pearl phone that has been provided by Dr. Otto as a replacement for his phone. Not exactly what he had before. It's like a flip phone.
Yeah, this is not very nice here, Otto. I can't believe you gave me this thing.
It still makes calls.
So everybody gets a text message from the university saying that there is a briefing at 1 o'clock. It's in a couple of hours at the university for a lead and the first assignment of the crew.
Oh man, I'm excited.
All right, yeah, let's. What time is it?
It's probably only about 11 a.m.
Well, it gives us plenty of time to get there.
Yes, this is where you guys say, and we jump on the shuttle and we head down there,
And we jump on the shuttle and we head down to the university to meet the dean.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
So, Lucius Vex, Dean of Chronotech University, is having a conversation with his droid Brainstorm as you guys enter the conference room where you've received pretty much all of your assignments up to date. He says, gentlemen, Dr. Otto, it's a pleasure to see all of you. Oh, excuse me, and ladies. And he waves everyone to have a seat at the conference room table. As everyone settles in, he says, Dr. Otto, this is your expedition, and I have a lead that I'd like you to follow up on for your first assignment. He clicks a button and the projector behind him fills with a map of the local sector. On that map, you can see the world of Esperanza that you're currently on. You can see Mithril and several status buoys in between, detailing the new Mithril expedition that the university has launched. And at another click of the button, the camera spans over towards the New Colchis system. It zooms in on the planetary system and then zooms in again, not on the world of New Colchis, but on a world at the outer edge of the Goldilocks zone. That world comes up as a world called Koyt, Koyt. It's a habitable, although barely, very small dwarf planet. It is part of the New Colchis solar system and therefore is part of this area of control under the Imperial Axis. It zooms in again and shows a small village. They look from the orbital scan to be relatively low tech. Ian Vex pauses for a moment and he says, "Gentlemen, a few months ago, you acquired an artifact of great value, and that artifact was stolen from you. The university has obviously taken measures to try to rectify that situation and discovered that the Imperial Axis has several programs going on right now to allow them to acquire a series of Droian artifacts. We're not sure exactly what purpose they want these for, but I doubt very seriously that it's anything good, or that it has the betterment of science or mankind in mind. We recently found out that the group that acquired this artifact from you and several of their supporters in the Imperial Axis raided a small village on the planet of Koyt and took 3 different crystals of some kind of power source from this Droian town. The town is without power because of the loss of these crystals and has formally reached out and asked for help. We've decided to send you to help them, and more importantly, to figure out what these crystals are, what the group that has taken them wants, and if there is any archaeological connection to the artifact they took. This may also, obviously, present you with an opportunity to regain the artifact that they've taken. I do not want any of you to misinterpret. I am not sending you to attack anyone, nor do I want you to seek combat. But if the opportunity comes to reacquire what should rightfully be Chronotech University property, I wouldn't be opposed to it. The Droian on this planet are regressed from technology. Even though they have these power crystals, I doubt very seriously they know how to work them beyond the fact that they do work and that they are part of their ancient lore and knowledge. We don't have details because we've never sent an expedition to this town before.
Interesting. Okay. So the new home group grabbed the crystals, 3 of them. And you think they're still on planet?
It is worth noting that while the Zenith of Discovery's crew did hail from New Home, due to recent events with the whole Axis Powers thing, the New Home University has disavowed the Zenith of Discovery and her crew. They are no longer formally associated with the New Home University. They are independent contractors, and we believe working formally with the Imperial Axis.
Oh, wow.
As a neutral entity, we of course don't take any sides in this war. It's one of the reasons I want you to tread carefully. Can't afford to be seen as taking sides in this conflict. That would be an unfortunate position for us, so close to New Colchis. Also, because we are neutral, your ship should be allowed in and out of the system, although you can expect a fair amount of scrutiny. Especially since you're not going to the main world.
So if we are attacked by the Axis, the Imperials again, we can defend ourselves, but we shouldn't seek fights. I understand.
Very good. And Dean Vex looks pointedly at Dr. Otto. Do you understand this position?
We're not attacking anything. We're just we're responding to the small village. They need help repairing their crystals. That's the whole point of us going there. That is our official story. We aren't attacking things. We're not trying to invoke a war in any way, shape, or form. We're just trying to help a small town of... That's a Droyan town, too?
It's a Droyan village. It is worth noting that Droyan casts like this do exist on various planets out here. This one is relatively new, although the city that they inhabit, or the city they've made their village next to, is ancient. There's all sorts of questions about their occupancy here, and it may be wise to avoid associating yourself with the New Colchis authorities with this village. While I am sending you to help them, I do not know that you want that to be your official cover story. Especially since members of the Imperial Axis, if that's who these people are currently working for, and we think that they are, have stolen these crystals from them. Do you really want to go tell their superiors that you're going to help these people?
No, we need a better cover story.
Good. You'll have plenty of time to give it some thought on the trip out there. It'll take a few jumps for you to make your way. Obviously, this mission is, like all the rest of them, a volunteer operation. It will take you 2 jumps to make it all the way out there. I've went ahead and set aside enough credits to have 2 demountable tanks mounted to the Borealis, so you'll be able to make the 2 jumps without needing to stop for refuel. Of course, when you arrive in system, you will need to refuel.
Handy.
Any additional questions?
Those tanks are disposable, so we need to make 2 jumps on the way back.
You will need to make 2 jumps on the way back. There are a couple of different ways you can achieve that. I leave the details of that up to you and the captain.
Oh, of course. I was just making sure I understood the extra fuel tanks.
Yes, if you need further explanation of how they work, I suggest getting with the captain.
Yep, definitely. Thanks. We'll figure some stuff out, and we're just going on a journey to New Colchis.
Excellent. Go learn things, bring us back some artifacts, and come back alive. Good luck.
Thanks, Dean. Mr. Dean. And Otto walks awkwardly out the back.
That was awkward. I'm gonna follow.
I feel like Zigzag's like, you know his name isn't Dean, right?
Yeah, why'd you call him Dean? That's not his name.
Yeah, but he's put in a lot of faith in us. He's given us an amazing ship with a lot of upgrades, and we've got to
Get his name right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, but he's the Dean, Mr. Supreme Dean.
Dean Vex.
Dean Vexter.
Not Vexter.
Jesus.
Supreme Dean Vexter. Get it right.
You guys kill me.
Emperor Vexter.
Does anybody need anything? We got to get in the ship. We got to come up with a better cover story to be in New Colchis.
Well, specifically going to Coit, which is really a dwarf planet that's just discovered as inhabitable. So we could be going as a scout service or similar, which is kind of what our ship is all about anyway. What do you think of that?
I don't know if we can have claims for the minerals there, because we've got a mineral detector.
Or just hear me out. We could go as, wait for it, scientists that are performing an expedition from a university about the Droyan.
That makes
I mean-
way too much sense. I don't know if we really want to do that.
That's wearing it out on the sleeve, you know? That's just obvious.
But that's what we're doing.
Right, and the locals are Imperials that have helped stole, like... They don't want anybody over there, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. The Imperials took crystals from there, and the Imperials control the whole system of New Colchis. And if they are sharing information the right way, and they say, "Hey, there's another people investigating," as long as we're just investigating, that's cool. But if we are taking things away, we might need to leave fast, as they see that a ship from Esperanza, which is neutral, is trying to take their technology because apparently it's important to them to amass Droyan artifacts.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but we are legitimately scientists, legitimately looking to do research. Like, it's easy to pass by any sort of checks when you're telling the truth. And we just don't go directly to Coit or whatever. We go to New Colchis. We look up, like, research some stuff and, like, just in general get ideas, then miraculously come up with the idea that what we have chosen to research happens to be on Coit, and then head our way there. And we do legitimate research on the Droyan. And we pass that research, because it's just research, that we do off to the New Colchis government, while meanwhile hiding all of the fancy stuff and the real reason we're going from them.
Well, all joking aside, it sounds like a good idea. If we stick as close to the truth that we can, makes it easier not to actually get caught up in a lie.
Sure, okay. Tell the truth.
That makes sense to me too.
I mean, that's just my random idea.
Do real research. We kind of are experts a little bit in Droyan technology and history. And what? So do we know? That's our next thing. Is we need to find something that we think is only on New Colchis, and that's the library that we need access to.
I mean, again, we don't have to go to New Colchis first. That was just an idea. Like, as long as we go in there, not that, hey, we're trying to help recover these crystals that got stolen or anything, but if we're like, hey, like, we want to go conduct research on this. There's some downfalls on it. If anybody looks deep into what we've already researched, then they may put two and two together, that we were the ones that they took the thing from in the first place. But that, again, depending, one, they can put it together that it was us that they took it from, but two, it corroborates our story that, yeah, we are interested in researching the Droyan and how they culturally or like and whatnot worked, and we have the makeup of, you know, that kind of thing. We have, like, I'm a doctor, which you usually bring on expeditions. We have a bunch of, like, scientists for archaeology. We've got roboticists, which we can use to explain that, hey, Gus is there to help us, you know, take data or, you know, scan stuff or any myriad of different things. Like, we can explain, like, we have like Zigzag's a professor, or like an actual tenured professor, or like all of us are. Like, to me, it sounds like that is easier to sell because that's what we're really doing.
I agree. That's true. That is everything we are. And if we lead with that, we don't have to lie. All very good points. I'm all for it. I'm ready to go. Let's head back to the ship and head out.
Bags are packed.
You guys meet at the shuttle pad. You've packed all of your personal belongings. Everyone's made sure that they have brought enough that fits in their bunk, but nothing that would exceed their very tight living spaces. Remember that everyone is double bunking with a roommate. We've established that Zigzag is bunking with Hal. Who else is bunking with who?
I'm gonna bunk with the captain.
You're going to bunk with the captain. Okay.
Unless she gets her own one.
No, but I assume that the two women would be bunking together. She doesn't object, though, if that's something that you want to push.
I just thought, like, captain and captain adjacent. Like, that's one of us is always ready. But if she's more comfortable with a lady, I didn't even think about that. I'm so sorry to offend you. I can bunk with anybody else.
John looks at Otto and just kind of gives him a wink.
She didn't object. I was just surprised as the GM. I rolled. She was in the military. She does not see a problem with it. So there is no need for, unless Otto comes to that conclusion on his own.
Oh man, I do have a social intuition.
You're supposed to, yes.
And I did really well. So even though she like stood up and was like, clearly that's an acceptable situation, I go, no, you would be much more comfortable monking with Tina. That would have been my secretary. No. Zane, bunk with me, please.
Roger.
Great times. This is why
social intuition.
Yes, he's like, I had to roll this to figure it out. That isn't a roll because of Otto not knowing. That's a roll because of Kizik not knowing.
Yeah, I think it more happened. I came and was like, "Hey, Doc, you're coming with me."
All right.
Drag road.
But I would much rather bunk with both of these. No. Stop. Oh, okay. We're bunking together. Hey, that was my choice the whole time.
All right.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so that leaves Mike and John Reese bunking together, which let's put all your let's put like most of your combat ready eggs in the same basket. So you guys spend 2 weeks in jump space. That is 2 additional weeks you can add to a study period. I believe that puts some of you over your 8-week mark. If you want to go ahead and roll your education, or if you're doing an athletics check, to see if you make it. Since you do 2 weeks, if you fail the first one, you can take a second attempt.
I passed.
Yay! That gives you.
So we're rolling against an 8 then?
Yes.
Yes. It's a bad one to waste boxcars on.
Not necessarily.
Hey, 9. Woohoo.
Okay, so since you all passed, you also get an additional week in whatever your next study period is going to be.
Oh, sweet.
I'm still 1 away.
Hey. You're still 1 away after the 2 weeks?
Yeah. I did other things in hyperspace because I thought that would have been better.
Okay. Well, that does happen. Thank you for being honest and keeping track of it. Okay, so you guys arrive in the new Colchis system. You are on the edge of the system when you drop out. The captain has brought you out of hyperspace or out of jump space, well out of range of any type of orbital scanning, and it's not the way you're used to travel being. This is a much more cautionary approach. And you guys have decided to take the legitimate scientist route. I'm assuming over the 2 weeks you have hammered out the details of what you actually want to do.
Yeah. Unless anybody makes other our plan is to do that. She drops us out way out, and I'm like on the phone going, "Hey, we're scientists." She's like, "Shh, we're not there yet."
Okay. Well, actually, she was going to take this opportunity to be like, "Okay, so here's last call." She calls you to the bridge, and she says, "You are the expedition commander, so you get to make the final call on how we approach the system." I've heard you guys discussing your whole go in where scientists ask for all the proper paperwork. Obviously there's going to be some admin involved we have to go through, but we do have legitimate papers, and you can, at a bare minimum, we'll be able to dock and refuel. Or, she pauses for dramatic effect, we're far enough outside of their systems with the stealth coding and such we have now, we can probably slip straight to the objective and not be caught. I could then loop back around as though I had jumped in from the other direction, request docking per normal, refuel the ship, get completely refitted and ready, and on my way back out, I simply slip back and pick you up. You'd have about 2 weeks on the planet from drop off to pick up.
Is Zane up there with us? He's flying the ship? Or was she flying
the
it?
captain is your pilot. Unless you want to change that, you're the expedition commander, but she's there to take care of the mundane flying.
All right, I'm gonna call Zane up. Zane to the bridge, please.
Yes, sir.
Counter strategy. What if we just sneak here because we've got super stealthy ship, and she just drops us off on the planet, and then she sneaks around to the other side and acts like she just dropped out of space and refuels the ship because she's a real person and can do that really well, and picks us up on her way out. Because this is way far out there. I think that's a pretty solid sneaky plan and puts us a little bit isolated, but I'm inclined to sneak in.
You're the boss, sir.
All right.
There's pros and cons to it. Nobody knows we're there, so nobody knows we're there. We can do whatever we want, and we can still use the "Hey, we're scientists" to talk to the people, the droian that are there. Cons to it is, if for whatever reason we run into anybody, which we don't, for the brief and everything that we got, we don't have any reason to believe that we're going to run into any sort of authorities. If we run into them, that will be an interesting discussion, because the ship won't be there to back us up.
A little bit isolated, but I think that's I think we can be sneaky enough. Everybody else to the bridge. Or a group meeting in the... Oh, we don't have a big room.
You have a mess hall.
Everybody pile into the mess hall.
It's one table with 4 chairs, so it'll fit some people.
I'm already in there making lunch.
All right, guys. Different plan. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. What if instead of us officially going and then coming back and then going and talking a lot and being official researchers, we are in the space right now and nobody's called us because we popped in and way in the outside because the captain's real good at flying, and she says we could just kind of sneak to the planet, hop off there. She'll swing around all the way to the other side so she could pop in like she just came there for the first time. She has the official paperwork and all of the stuff so they can get refueled. They could talk about some stuff, and then as she's leaving on the other side, she stops and picks us up. So it'll be just the expedition for 2 weeks on the teeny tiny dwarf planet, trying to figure out what we can about the Droyan village.
Zigzag is excited because he's got his equipment package with a tent and everything in it. We're gonna bivouac? This is great.
I don't know if... sure, we can tent. I was hoping that the village had enough things that we could, like, rent a room, but...
Oh, we got a 5-star hotel there. I mean, it's not an ancient village or anything like that. I'm not being a smartass. I'm sorry.
He's the best Indiana Jones style archaeologist there's ever been. First class of 5-star accommodations, or I won't do it.
What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, it sounds like a plan moving forward. I mean, did we all agree with the same idea of what we want to do here? I mean, I guess is the plan to sneak in then? That's what I'm kind of hearing?
Yeah, this is a brand new plan that's brought about because the captain is good at flying and gave us a second option. I like the second option of sneaking in, because that means that less Imperial people know that we're here, and there are less paper trail for an Imperial person to find and tie our ship back to our home planet, and I think it's a good plan. Oh, it is scary that it's going to be just us out there, but I think it's okay. Do you think that's a good plan?
I guess we could just say that we were just, we hired a transport to just bring us here, and that way we don't have to worry about accounting for a ship and the reason why the ship is gone, but kind of like a Uber type thing, I guess. But so that worked. I think we can make that work.
Or do you want to bring anybody else, or just the 4 of us?
You may want to take a look at your vehicle before you ask that question. I'm talking about the air raft.
The air raft that has 4 total seats in it.
There you go.
I'm not riding on top.
Especially in space, that's a good call.
So it looks like just the 4 of us then.
And our gear.
Oh yeah, and gear, yeah. We gotta bring something.
Got half a ton of cargo. That's a lot of gear.
All right, so we're all in agreement. Sneaking in. The ship will pick us up in 2 weeks.
You're the boss.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, and then I kind of step over somebody because I was in the back of the thing. I'm going to walk out to tell the captain. Captain?
Did you make a decision, Doc?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Captain. We're going to sneak in. I think it's a pretty good idea.
Very well. We'll set course, and she looks over at Hal, who's in the astrogation chair. And she's like, we'll do a slingshot at minimum power. Just so you guys are aware, I will be lowering pretty much every electronic system on the ship so that we are harder to detect during our approach. That does mean that it may be a little chilly in some areas of the ship, warm in others. Certain electronic things like the computer core may be brought down to minimal levels. I will also be keeping the gravity at a relatively low level, so just make sure everyone's aware. May want to tell Zigzag to go ahead and prep any meals that he wants to cook in the galley, because he's only going to have power in there for another 4 hours.
I have 4 hours to prep 2 weeks worth of rations. Godspeed.
Interesting challenge for him, isn't it? It's Stuart's skill to cook if you want to give it a legit try.
Yep, I'm on it. I'll use Kizik's dice.
Because yours are currently being eyeballs.
Yeah. I do actually have profession cook.
Ooh,
Which,
that's even better.
11 total.
Hell yeah. So not only are they like meals, but they're really good meals.
They're in bento boxes.
I was about to say, that's actually exactly what I was about to say. I feel like that deserves a point. Okay, so they're all set up. I will actually give you guys pluses to resting if it becomes relevant because of the efforts of Ghost. The ship spends a couple of days in this sort of high-speed, low-power transit. You're basically a meteorite zipping through the system at low power. As you get close to the planet, the captain says, "All right, you may want to get everything loaded on board the Scarlet, your air raft, your custom-built G vehicle." And she encourages you guys to get all set up. And she's like, "I'm basically going to disengage the clamps, and I'm going to slingshot you towards the planet. I suggest waiting to turn your systems all the way on until you're close to the atmosphere."
That's flying's on you, Jonathan. Let's get our stuff packed up, guys. Whew, this is gonna be fun.
Hal's got all of my shit. Like, he's eager for me to get out of the room already.
Actually, Hal, let me go ahead and roll that. Hey, what's your social score?
0.
Oh. Yes. So, what is it? Oh, you've already said what his annoying trait is. The crowing in the morning has absolutely been driving Hal nuts. Apparently, his natural instinct when it comes to bird cries is to cower in fear. And you're pretty sure you made him wet himself one morning.
Oh, man.
But he's in a damp sack, so you can't even tell.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's no. You have an idea because of things he said, but he is in an environmental suit, so like that's why you're pretty sure and not positive.
The other guys are like, "We just spent 6 weeks in an APC with Zigzag, and he never crowed." So I have no idea what's going on with him, actually.
Oh god, that's even worse. And since he rolled a 3, that conversation may have taken place. Oh man.
The territorial thing.
Mm-hmm. So the captain rolled a 12 to do her slingshot maneuver with the car. So she rolls the ship, disengages the clamps, and centrifugal force flings the car out towards the planet. It's on a ballistic course towards the atmosphere. Who is at the controls?
This goes under flyer G vehicle, right?
That is correct. Flyer grab.
Probably should be me then.
All you.
Okay. Well, the vehicle careens towards the atmosphere. Fuck yeah, 12 is plenty. So you fire the engines at just the right moment. You end up like you're so on course that you're basically over the village as soon as you get stable flight going on. It's probably the best way to do it. You make a single pass over the village. It definitely looks a little bit old. The village is set up on the outskirts of an ancient city the ancient city is completely ruins. It looks like it's been battered down to the ground. This village is much more primitive than the city, but is in much better condition. The buildings are of an interesting architecture with a lower level that looks normal and upper levels that appear to be more like bird nests, like bird boxes, than normal buildings, with the upper floors not having direct access that you can see from the outside, at least to the lower levels, and having doors that open up just to, the street at the second floor height. It's also worth noting that there are signs of light posts and such and electricity. However, none of the electricity in the village is on, and there's obvious signs of like lanterns and smoke and stuff being used as, fire is being used to heat and provide light, which seems unusual for a town with electricity. Anyone else want to make any recon checks? Ask any specific questions? As I understand it, your air vehicle is not particularly stealthy.
Now we're gonna come in loud and fast.
Okay.
It may have been asked already, but do we know the tech level of this area? I imagine it can't be high, so...
Looking out, I can't assume that it's much, but I don't think we've studied that answer out of the question yet.
No, I got you.
Are there any crowds down there?
Since the vehicle is loud, and you've specified that you're coming in loud, there will be people coming out of some of the warrens. And when I say people, they're droid, and many of them will be looking up or pointing. You can do recon checks for specific details if you want them.
I'm gonna recon for a good landing place with a decent amount of isolation, I guess is the word. Close to, but not right in the middle of the town or anything like that.
Okay. You're flying, so you're going to have to divide your attentions.
Yeah.
You're probably not the wisest person in this particular check.
Fair.
You worry about flying. I'll try to find you a landing spot. My recon is pretty good. I rolled a 5. I have a +2 in recon, and then a +2 in intellect.
Okay. There are no spots that are close to the village. But there is a nice isolated clearing that is level and would be a perfect landing spot for the car. It's about 1 kilometer away from the outskirts of the village. Not horribly far.
It's I think I see a spot. It's pretty close, but it'll allow us to tent up. It's over about a mile.
Okay.
Kilometer mile.
Kalama Mile.
Llama mile.
Space Units Mile.
Galactic Kalama Mile.
It's in clicks.
Boss, I intend on putting it down over there.
That's a good spot. And we'll see if they want to come talk to us or if we want to go talk to them. Do we speak Drowan or does Drowan speak basic?
These are all things we will discover.
Sounds good.
These are things you would think you guys would know, since I've already answered that very question for you guys. Okay. So go ahead and give me a landing check, Ronan, because you are landing. Dr. Hicks is a decent grav pilot, but you are landing in the wilderness in a clearing in the trees.
8, 9, 10.
Excellent. So you bring the car to a nice, gentle landing. I'm gonna say this corner is the clearing. Okay. To your west is a river that runs down next to the village. So there is a waterway that's within sight that you could use to help guide yourself to the village. To roughly the south is the village, southeast. And the clearing's easily big enough for 2 of the vehicles of this current size, so you could also, as was stated, you could set up camp right here.
Are we? I'm eager to get out. So as soon as we touch down, seatbelts off. Zigzag opens the door.
Okay.
Take a big breath of air. Sorry, guys. We were just cooped up in that ship for it was a while. And I get out and I start walking around barefoot on the grass.
The sounds and the smells of the nearby river assail you. But it smells more like the ocean than a freshwater river. It almost has a salty tint to it. So you wonder if the water's a little brackish. Also, there is a almost sulfur tinge to some of the air, depending on which way the wind is blowing. Beyond that, it's a normal forest. The gravity here is a little low, so the trees are wispy, and they sway a lot with the wind.
Ugh! You guys, you smell that? That's a... Whew.
Otto hops up beside you. He takes his big old breath too. He goes, "Oh, that's sulfur. Man, that was a couple of minutes and that was like high G, or no, it's like low gravity. Oh, it's still low gravity here. Look, I can jump really high."
I thought I was going to get away from the blop smell, but this is a little like it. There's nothing wrong with Hal, I'm just... Have you heard that I keep crowing at him in the morning?
You're doing that on purpose, right?
Absolutely. I never did it to you guys.
I thought that was because we were like friends and been around each other for a while. You're just establishing your dominance.
Just a prankster. I kind of told him that I was going to do it, and I have to do it now.
So you wake up at 4 because that's what your dad taught you how to do. You staying there for 2 hours just to crow at him?
You think I'm just standing there staring at him in the dark? No. I have beans to grind and press, and I make coffee for everybody, and I do my morning routine, but yeah, he doesn't wake up until later, so usually I catch him in the fresher, which is, it helps him, I think.
It's not you. I just hold my hand up for a high five.
Yeah, I slap you with both right hands. Clap, clap.
Oh, I held it up too high and you had to show off your jumping skills in the low gravity.
There you go. Well, yeah, I'm glad to get off the ship. You guys ready? Or you want to set up? Let's set up camp first. That's smart.
Yeah, we'll be here for a while. Set up our camp here, and then we'll take our trek in.
Okay. You guys can do survival to pitch tents. Rex, Thodubs, what's your take on the situation?
I'm going to power down the vehicle, and my intent is to go and, as we're setting up camp, to go, as we think we're going to be here about 2 weeks, to go set up water supply and test the water to make sure it's actually drinkable by us.
Excellent. So you're going to walk straight down to the river?
Yeah.
Okay. Thodubs?
So I'm going to start setting up camp, just kind of getting our gear out and just kind of taking a chance to survey the area that we're parked at, and getting some of our camp gear out and stuff set up for our stay.
Okay. You're definitely doing a survival check. Sounds like Kizik and Ghost are doing survival checks, but I want Ghost to also do a recon check. And then Rex, as Dr. Hicks walks down to the river with, I imagine, a bunch of empty water bottles or bladders and some testing equipment. As you get closer to the river, you will notice that there are these lashed together reed boats. I won't call them rafts. They are of a similar design to a raft, but they're more permanent and better built. And they have these roosts on them, and there are 3 droin each on them. And they are fishing with nets. And they are fishing the river as they're coasting down the river toward the village. They see you, and they definitely watch you with rapt attention. They make no attempt to communicate with you. What do you do?
going to slowly, just like normally, move down to the river. I have no intention of communicating with them. I'm gonna let them do their thing while I do my thing, and keep an eye on them.
Okay. If that's the case, they're going to continue doing their fishing. You do hear them making occasional noises. They sound almost like chirps amongst each other. But they don't seem to be making enough noise to actually be talking. As you gather the water, can I also get, if you have biology, which I think is one of your skills, can you roll for the testing the water?
I do indeed have biology. 6, 7, 8, 9.
The water is drinkable. It's probably not going to taste very great, but it is drinkable.
Sweet.
You would also, with a 9, know enough to know that if you boil the water, as you would normally do for, getting rid of any local bacteria or such, it will improve the taste slightly.
Sweet. I'm gonna fill up the water containers and head back to camp.
Did I get survival checks from everyone else? And that recon check?
Recon check was a 12.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we'll get to you last, but you have important stuff.
Survival, was that intelligence or education?
Survival is education.
Education, so we have a 10.
Okay.
I rolled boxcars. I have a -3 plus a 1 for a 11.
Oh,
For a 10.
okay. I was about to point out that Kizik didn't do math properly, and we should all write this down in our notebooks.
I almost did.
Yeah. So, all right. Ghost. At one point, you look up, and you see 3 droid flying on wings just like the artificial set you have, very high up, but they definitely circle the camp a few times before heading back in the direction of the town.
We didn't come in all stealthy like. That was probably mostly my fault for saying let's come in loud. But I think the droid definitely, they've been flying overhead anyway, gentlemen. So just heads up.
I guess that we should expect that.
Yeah, hopefully they don't think we're here to steal more stuff from them.
See how straight that top of that tent is?
Yeah, you did great.
Rex has no further information to add to this conversation.
It's walking back up still, sorry. I assumed that was happening before I got back there. My bad. Hey, guys, the water's drinkable. Recommend boiling it first before you make coffee or anything with it there, Zigzag. Because it'll taste a little bit better. I did notice I was being watched by some droid doing some fishing, using nets as they went down and basically trawling on some, like, I don't want to say primitive boats. I mean primitive from a technological, but really well made and sturdy boats. So pretty good craftsmanship on them. But we're definitely being watched.
Yeah, they're flying overhead sometimes too.
All right. Did you wave to him and say hi at all?
Nope. I made sure I didn't want to interrupt them. I wanted to make sure we could get our stuff set up first before making contact.
We got a great camp. Will you see how tight this tent is? Oh man, I did real good on that.
Does anyone have any specific Droian cultural things they can roll? You guys are supposed to be experts in this, the Droian culture and other things.
I mean, I have my science archaeology that I can roll it on.
Okay. I'd do that one, but it would be a harder roll than if someone, say, has Droyan as a skill or a language, or if anyone has diplomacy.
Well, I've got a diplomat of 0.
Okay. Tell you what. Ghost, why don't you roll your archaeology? The effect of your check will go into Kizik's check. You two can figure it out amongst yourselves.
My archaeology roll has been 6 plus 1 plus 0 education, 7.
-1 to Kizik's check.
Sorry, Kizik.
I rolled a 5 plus 0 plus 1 for a... Oh, -1 for a 5.
So, what we've established here is that while you guys are really good at digging up their artifacts, you don't actually know a whole lot about how the Droyan social structure works or how they communicate. Okay. I'm going to take a quick bio break. I'm going to give you guys a second to strategize amongst yourselves, but when I come back, a small group of Droyan are going to approach the camp.
I know they're scientific. No, psionic. There's the word.
I found them in the book. There's only 67 pages on the drawing in the book.
Get to reading.
Yeah, right. They look pretty cool, though. Probably should have read this beforehand.
Yes, I think that they do communicate psionically. Or psionics has something majorly to do with their abilities. They are a caste society.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the different castes, one of them is like the leadership caste. So if we need to talk, we should talk to them instead of the warrior caste or the soldier caste.
Yeah, so the ones that were fishing aren't the leaders, and the ones that were flying are those soldiers?
Could be.
The small group that's going to come talk to us, those are scouts?
Could be. Either way, we should be respectful.
Yes.
Did the dean tell us that they had made contact, or they just wanted us to try to fix the village?
Weren't you listening?
I was. He said...
Then what did he say?
He said that we're supposed to fix the village.
No, we're supposed to figure out what's going on with those we're supposed to find out how we can get them the power back from the crystals and figure
out what the crystals were, why the other team wants them.
Mm-hmm.
You have any theories?
They power something. It's an ancient power that powers maybe a coin. It's an ancient power. I mean, if it's enough power to power, that's a whole village, and there's only 3 of them. That's a lot of power.
I agree. Have you ever heard of a crystal power source like that?
There was one in the Droyan test that we took. I touched it and got stuck in amber.
That's right. So, there's a old ancient city on the outskirts of this town. Or the town is on the outskirts of it.
Yep, that was reduced to rubble.
Well, maybe it's got a very underground testing facility.
Secret entrance.
Well, it'd have to be. I don't know if these Droyan knew about it, they would use it, right?
I mean, use it for what?
Well, they'd go get a new fucking crystal.
As you guys are
I mean, if
having
they knew
this
how.
conversation, a group of 3 Droyan approach the edge of the clearing where you guys have made camp. And they stand at the very edge of the clearing. What did I do with that token I had earlier?
I nudge Dr. Otto over. You should go and think to them.
Yeah, that's how psionics work.
It should definitely be leader to leader communication.
Yep. I say, I'm the leader, a little bit loud as I take a couple of steps forward.
You say, I'm the leader, really loud as you take a... Okay.
That-
Roll a diplomat for me.
Uh, 7 + 1 is an 8.
What? Okay. They look at amongst each other. All right, let me show you the first group that's shown up. They looks amongst each other. Now, the only difference between these guys and the guys that are actually here is that these guys are in obvious, like, high-tech power armor, and the guys that are approaching are in more primitive versions. So it's got the plate, but it's not, like, electronic. Same thing with the shields and the weapons. They look amongst each other, but as you say that, they step aside and another Droyan walks forward. He stands about 4 or 5 feet in front of the other 3, out towards where Dr. Otto is.
I watch him as I walk towards him.
Okay. How close do you get?
I go halfway between our group and their group. And then I stand there and think, like, I just want to talk, man.
Reese, I saw you move your token on here. Was that just to have yourself on the board?
It was, yes.
Reese is not positioning himself to do anything hostile.
Absolutely not.
Excellent. Hate to give the wrong impression.
Yep, apologize. Yeah, I'm just still kind of goofing with the tent and stuff like that. Get things unloaded.
The Droyan cocks his head. Oh, you said you thought this. You didn't say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So he definitely looks confused. And he sorts of puts his hand in a universal beckoning motion. As in, come closer.
I wave up at him as I come closer.
Where are your hands while you're doing this?
My hands are not in my pockets, and they're out in front of me.
Okay. When you do get close, say within 3 to 5 feet, the Droyan extends his hand palm up.
I return the gesture.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check. You're making a few.
6 + 1's a 7.
Okay. He reaches out with his other hand and grabs your wrist gently, and then takes your hand and lays it palm down on top of his.
Seems like that's their handshake, Dr. Otto.
He hasn't moved his hand.
I touch his hand and put his other hand on top of mine.
Only one palm is necessary for communication. You hear in your head.
I drop his wrist real fast, and I keep my hand on his, and I shake and blink a couple times, and I go, I'm Professor Otto. We're here to do some research, and we've heard that you're missing some power crystals, and we like to try to help with that.
You would like to try to help. You're very much like the ones who came to study the crystals the first time, who stole them.
They have stolen things from us as well, and we may look similar, we have very different intentions.
You are telling me that you don't make your living by taking things from other cultures that do not belong to you?
I like to think that I make my living by discovering upon the knowledge advancements of different cultures and civilizations and generations, and trying to make the world better based upon knowledge that I can learn from all of that.
Give me a diplomacy check.
That's a 4.
Do you truly believe that? Or sorry, I should say, does Otto truly believe that?
Yeah, Otto 1000% truly believes that.
I am one of the leaders of this caste of Droyan. And while I can sense that you believe what you say, the truth is that you are robbing our heritage every time you pillage one of these sites.
Otto's mind goes back to the spot where he put money at the tomb, and the joy he felt as he was going through the Droyan coin trials. But then he also thinks there's truth to what he's saying, and I kind of feel sad.
It is interesting that you consider some of the rites of passage to be a learning experience, but it isn't keeping with your otherwise benign nature. Please try to observe customs if you enter our village. The members of this village have recently been done wrong by members of your species. Most will not understand you to be different than them. Our leader will meet with you if you decide to go into the village. Sorry, he would say our leader of leaders would meet with you when you go into if you would like to go into the village.
Right now, or should we wait a respectful amount of time first?
Whether or not you make the journey now or later is up to you. We have very little hope that you're actually going to be able to help, but we will not turn down the attempt.
We thank you, and we hope to actually help you.
With that, he releases your hand, and he backs away. He's still facing you. He takes 3 steps back, and he stops.
I take 3 steps back. I kind of nod at him and smile, and then turn around and walk back.
By the time you glance over your shoulder, him and the other Droyan have disappeared back into the woods. no one could hear what you were saying.
Yeah, I make it all the way back. Like when I peek back over my shoulder and they're gone, I like start running back and I hold my hand out and I say out loud, "Only one!" And somebody touch my hand, guys. Anybody? Jonathan. I see you over there. Don't try to sneak behind that car. Touch my hand.
I'm a little nervous to touch your hand. Why am I touching your hand?
Just touch it, palm to palm.
Okay, if there's something sticky on this, I'm gonna get really upset fast. So John actually stretches out his hand and does palm to palm with his top arm.
And nothing happens.
So imagine now, instead of me saying this out loud, you were just hearing it in your thoughts, and then you could use thoughts to talk back to me. That was the one. Hey, everybody, come on! That was something. That was.
Come over here and check out Dr. Otto. He's hearing things in his head again and voices. And hey, Dr. Zane, do you want to come over here and have a talk with Dr. Otto? I'm a little concerned.
I mean, the droid are psionic, so it makes sense that it was a telepathic conversation.
Bionic, yeah.
Ah, okay, all right. There you go. He trying to, touch my palm and do psionic stuff with me. I was a little nervous.
I didn't know how psionics work. What if it just rubbed off on me? That would have been really neat. But so that was one of the leaders. He said that they were recently robbed. I told him that we knew about the crystals. I said that we were here to help. He kind of stared at me. I don't know, stared is the right word. He kind of like enveloped my thoughts, and he might know that we don't mean to steal things, but he also then said that we make our living off of stealing from his cultures, and I that's 1,000% true, and that's kind of the whole point that we were here. But we're here to make the discoveries, and then because of the discoveries, advance humanity and the galaxy. So anyway, he said that we could go make the journey into the village, and the leader of leaders would see us, but that there's a lot of Droin in there, and they're really mad because humans just stole a bunch of stuff from them, and they said that they were there to research things, and they're real mad at the humans, and but we can go meet their leader of leaders either now, or we can spend the night a couple of times. I guess I asked if that was an appropriate thing, and he just said, "Whatever you want to do, man." And I said, "Okay." So I say we wait a night and then go early in the morning. Do you think they want gifts? Is that something that Droin like?
From my research into them, the rest of their society, aside from their leaders, are pretty much going to stay away from us, and let us talk to their leaders. And for the most part, unless we wrong them, which they believe we have, we as a collective species or group of species have, that we don't need gifts or anything like that. So I wouldn't go like that. I would recommend we go talk to the leader of leaders, and I highly recommend that we don't take anything from this planet, because although we believe that we're taking it for the furtherment of humanity and the galaxy, these guys go fishing on rafts. I don't think that the advancement of humanity is anywhere in their priorities. Just my opinion.
In addition to that, I will not be taking my firearm with me. I will keep that locked up in a crate here at the grav vehicle. But I don't want to bring anything that's a weapon or looks like a weapon.
The last time I made that call, there was this killer robot. I'm bringing an accelerator rifle with me, slung over my shoulder.
That thing is huge.
It is very, very big, and I've been taking it apart for the past 2 weeks.
But it is also a wise choice. for a weapon for Zigzag as an accelerator rifle. One of the key features of it, it's 0G, and it does not have kickback.
It's perfect for my little frame.
Well, but the rifle is huge.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so you guys are going to spend the night here. Do any of you have like a computer with a library on it where you could maybe do more research? It sounds like Dr. Zane has already done a little bit.
It's 60 pages. I can't read super fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have my phone. It's not like a library, but it's got some data on it from my researches.
It would make sense. I just want to give everyone a chance to make at least one more roll. And if you can make an argument for something, like archaeology was really a stretch, but if you can make an argument for something that you think is a good skill to use, I'll definitely be flexible on that, since you guys already have a bunch of research to look at. Because I feel like this is a subject that you would have some research material on. A, you knew who you were coming to talk to, and B, this is an area of study you've experienced before.
The car also has a computer with a database that we would have loaded up.
Great idea.
My phone also has database.
I'd like to roll a diplomat roll this time.
Okay. Let's go ahead and give you a +2 because all the various research papers and such you have. You can put your heads together too if you want.
So Jonathan pulls out his flip phone, the pink and purple one, and looks at Dr. Otto. Hey, Dr. Otto, does this have a database on it?
Yeah, you just have to pair it Bluetooth with the car.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll do that.
I got a 10 on my diplomat.
I would like to, while searching the database for any medical stuff for the drone, like physiology, like what we know from a medical perspective about the drone.
Okay. Anyone else want to give a specific?
I'd like to look for Droyan customs of meeting their leaders.
Okay. What skill?
Diplomat.
Okay.
Oh, that was a 10 plus 1's 11.
Phillips, did you already say one and I missed it?
I did not. I just had the archaeology that we kind of already utilized before.
Okay. There are ways for you to make that roll. You have to, so everyone else said, hey, I'm looking for this specific thing, and then used a skill along with it. You can still do it if you want.
I was actually looking up symbology. Wanted to take a look and see if I could see any strange symbols or recognize any symbols around where they kept the stones or that they used in their village.
Okay. Well, you haven't been to the village yet, but I will let you look up their written language using the archaeology skill if you want to do that roll. And then I'll give everybody their results. Okay. Alright, so Thodubs, you have a rudimentary, call it an elementary school understanding of their written language. You will be able to recognize it and keywords, but not in depth. Like you couldn't read a novel, but you could read a sign, for example. It'll take you a concerted effort to do it, so you won't just be able to read it like it's English, but you will be able to translate basics like street signs. Could be very useful. Ghost. You did a diplomacy roll for their, I assumed, customs and diplomacy, which is pretty much the same thing Kizik did, so I'm going to put those two together. You both rolled pretty well. The Droyan are naturally a peaceful people. It doesn't mean they're incapable of combat. They're not pacifists. But their preference is strongly not to attack. So while you may be presented with hostile entities, and they are likely to avoid you if they're not amongst the leader or possibly merchant caste of their society, that doesn't mean you almost certainly won't come under attack, but it doesn't mean that they'll be happy to see you. Next up was Kizik. You wanted to know about meeting their leader. You've already sort of established the initial customs. It is appropriate for you to let them, like for you to walk into the room, for example, and then to let them rise and approach you, and you mutually, for one person, the leader of each group, to be the one doing all the communicating with the leader. You bubbled into it with the help of your teammates the first time. Having one specific leader move forward is very important. And you're pretty sure that you can do the same type of communication with their leader. With that said, the Droyan also, because you and Ghost rolled really well, are terrified of ancient technology. It's highly likely that that city that's crumbled nearly to dust next to them is a city of the ancients. So while even if there was an additional crystal that could power this town, it's incredibly unlikely that any of them would venture into the city. They likely consider it a forbidden place. They have a supernatural fear of the ancients. Ronan, you were looking up their medical
Yes.
importance. So there's very little medical data that's been extensively done on the Droyan. You do know that they're psionic. That's the big one. You've already sort of hit that. They are completely capable of speech. They could even speak basic if they wanted to, although most won't. They have probably 50% of their population only has what are known as vestigial wings and rely on the type of wing apparatus that you've seen that Zigzag has to achieve flight. Some of them cannot even achieve flight with those apparatuses. Some have small wings, but enough to sustain glide or jumps. And then about 15 to 20% of the population have full-blown wings. So to see a Droyan with full wings, you're likely addressing either a strong, powerful warrior or a leader caste.
Awesome. Thank you.
You guys have amazing bento boxes for dinner.
Yes.
And then we put our heads together and go over the research we've done for the rest of the afternoon.
Absolutely. I will be right back, gentlemen.
Seeing these guys with the wings, I gotta say I'm a little jealous. I really want to get my set working. This would be really cool. I could fly, guys. That would be awesome.
I mean, is that culturally sensitive to the Droyan about where we're about to go communicate with?
Well, that's a good point. I don't know if I should bring it up, but maybe when we get home, I'm gonna mess with them, see if I can't get them to work.
So, you didn't do the best at jumping off of a building.
Well, I didn't have the wings on.
Yeah, but the wings might take you higher than a building.
Well, that's the point. I hope I could fly. Maybe the wings could help me glide at least. You know, but full flight. Those guys were flying, and they are about the same size as I am. So the wings should carry me, right?
The math checks out. I mean, if not,
I just saw you not do math correctly, so I don't know. Hold on, let me do the math too.
Yeah. You have small, hollow bones?
Yeah, they're not necessarily hollow, but the structure inside, where you guys have marrow, is kind of honeycombed and, hollow. It's got pockets of air.
Oh, imagine if we could fill those pockets of air with helium.
incredibly painful.
Yes,
Yeah, but you would be lighter.
that's how you cure sicknesses. You just inject bleach into the marrow of your bones. That's
Look, you stick with robots, Doc.
Yeah, that was my next thing is instead of having that, why not just put a grav generator back there and you can just grav around? Anyway.
Give me ideas. I like it.
Yeah, so one leader approaches. They kind of stand at each other. Eventually, they'll offer you a hand. They'll only offer one person. That's the leader. I've already said I was the leader, so I guess that has to be me again. You get to go touch his hand, and we have a thought conversation. What'd you learn?
Yeah, similar to that. I was really looking for culinary things. I know why, but I didn't find very much.
they love to eat squid. They'll settle for fish, but they love squid.
I wonder if we have any calamari. I don't know if I packed any.
Give me a luck roll.
On the D6, that was a straight up 10, but then I realized that's not what you asked me to roll.
No, that's good. Fine. We will talk about luck characteristics later. I may end up having you all roll luck scores, but for now, a straight up roll will be fine. So with a 10, you do have not just calamari, but you were going to make sushi, so you've packed at least one fresh, small, fist-sized squid, or octopus, or something of that nature. Something similar enough.
Hey, Otto, you could take this into town. I'll prepare it, and you could give it to their supreme leader.
I think they called him the leader of leaders. But yeah, that's what I was looking for, a gift. You give a gift to a leader, and then that's how you ingratiate yourself to them. And then you ask him if you can help him restore the power to his town by going into the ancient village beside him and bringing them the knowledge we've learned from there. Right?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Did you learn anything, Reese?
Well, I actually have been able to get a good elementary understanding of their language, of their written language. I think I should be able to interpret signs or anything like that they may have in their village. But of course, just the basic type of things. But I think that might help us out as we move forward.
You know the signs for no humans allowed?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep my eye open for that one. I'm definitely going to kind of watch the area. And if I see anything of interest, I'll try to definitely let people know.
Reese, there's no word for human in ancient Trojan. Actually, there would be, it just wouldn't translate as human. So, that specific question, you wouldn't be able to see that sign because there is no word that you would recognize as human in the ancient language that you would know. Remember, you know their equivalent of Latin.
Gotcha.
It would be parasitio.
So, you guys are gonna finish up having the rest for your evening, or Ronan want to talk about the things he's figured out, or?
I think he said he was going to be AFK for a second. Is
Oh.
he back?
I just got back here.
Nice.
But sounds like we were just explaining what we figured out. So, hey guys, just looking at like the physiology of the droid and taking a look at them. When we get into town, you're gonna notice that we don't know a lot about how their like physiology is, except for things like their wings, and their size of wings matters. So we're not gonna see like the leader that we just saw with the big wings. Like that's a leader or like strong warrior cast kind of thing. Most droid don't have fully functional wings. Like there's wings back there, but not necessarily that they can fly without augmentation like the wings that you have. But I'm probably gonna spend way too much time watching their movements to see if I can figure anything else out, because I like biology and physiology and medical stuff way too much. I'm sorry.
And us just taking the technology is worse than you wanting to dissect a sample?
I mean, I want to dissect zigzag too, but I haven't done that yet.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Almost as much as he's disturbed by the fact that you qualified it with yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But as long as you can continue to give me amazing reasons to see the inside of your physiology, like jumping off buildings while trying to fly, I won't have to dissect you. I'll get plenty of you throughout normal travel with you.
Well, do I have news for you? Because you're checking out the biology of the Droian and the way that their wings work. Maybe you could help me attach these wings or modify them so that my lower arms here could maybe flap them.
Ooh. Side project, yes.
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Totally gonna look at that.
All right. The two of them disappear into a tent. All right, Reese. Let's get some shut-eye.
All right. Good night.
The sounds of the forest are that you would normally expect to hear. There are the howlings of wolf-like creatures coming from the direction of both the village and far away. The sounds of, crickets, albeit much larger than you're used to, chomping around in the forest. The occasional hoot of a nocturnal hunter swooping around. And the splish-splash of any fish and such from the river. But all in all, the night passes more or less uneventfully. And in the morning, you are not awoken by the crowing of a zigzag. Unless he wants to.
No, I wouldn't do that to my friends.
Just your crew.
Just Al, because
Just your
I'm
roommate.
pranking him. Yeah, he's my roommate. This is what Bart did to me for so long. Not crowing, but similarly.
That's why you wake up regularly at 4 a.m.
Yes, that's hazing. And it teaches you forever to do just that.
To continue the vicious cycle.
Exactly. It's terrible.
Otto is sipping on a coffee going, caw. That is pretty funny.
It is. It is funny. If I get all of you in on it, that'd be even better.
Caw,
I
caw, tookie.
I could
Ah,
wire a small speaker. It could go off randomly for 10 plus hours. No, that's too mean.
that is psychotic. Otto, no.
Yeah, correct. Need to get in a nice mental headspace. I'm gonna go high five a leader of leaders.
I wouldn't make high five contact, but just lay your hand on top of his.
Very gently. Very gently.
Yeah, contact might be construed as of war.
Did you find that in your research? I need to practice touching gently palm to palm.
Here, I've got 4 of them.
Only one palm is necessary. That's what he told
I
me
know.
last time.
Right, but you can practice your... And never mind.
No, wait. I was about to touch that one.
It's like whack-a-mole.
No, that's too fast. You said be gentle. I don't want to start a war.
This is fun.
Caca! And I hit it really hard. No, that's not right. Mental, be serious. We're going to go talk to the leader of leaders. We need to get across. Is there a bridge? Oh, we got to walk along. I don't know. Was there a bridge? Did anybody see a bridge?
How were the Droian were using boats?
To be clear, the village is on the same side of the river you're on.
Oh, we don't need to cross the river.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you guys are just gonna have breakfast and head into town, or are you gonna head into town before breakfast?
I know Zigzag has to make a delicacy of squid.
Oh, you want it cooked? I can do that.
You think?
How do the Droian like it? Do they like it cooked or raw or?
They like it alive. They like it alive.
Oh, there you go.
I'll try to keep it as fresh as I possibly can then.
Got a little like goldfish bag like from Walmart.
Yes.
I'll shake it. Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Don't poke at it so much.
Okay. You guys head down to the town. It's only a kilometer walk, so it's not long before you're entering the perimeter of the village. One of the things you note about the architecture is, as I mentioned earlier and you saw from the sky, the ground floors are built much like human dwellings. That is a size and a height thing. Normal doors, normal windows, they are sized for adult male humans. The upstairs are shorter and more compact, and their doors open straight to overhangs that you would have to be able to fly, at least in a limited capacity, to get in or out of.
Oh, this place is neat. Made for flyers.
Yeah, but there's still like a downstairs that I could go into.
As you enter the perimeter of the town, various people move out of the way. One of the surprising things that you'll notice without needing a recon check is that some of these individuals are not Droian. Some of them may even be primitive humans, or not so primitive humans, it's hard to tell. And you absolutely see at least one Vargar.
None of them look chained or anything, right?
None of them look what?
Like slaves.
Give me a recon check.
Okay. Uh, 10.
None of them are in any type of restraints or wearing any type of slave collars or anything like that. They are, however, obviously the more impoverished part of the society. You also find that their population, as you walk towards the center of town, tends to be on the outskirts. As you move towards the center of town, human-sized dwellings fall away, and while the public spaces all have a human-sized floor, like the courthouses, and as you walk close to something called the Outsiders Market, you'll find that it's sized for such things. So obviously the public domain still is sized for all different sentients. The residential buildings in the center of town, which are much better built and think like brick Victorian architecture, but they are sized exclusively for Droian. And I can probably go ahead and build this now. As you approach the center of town, Odubs, you see two signs on opposite sides of the square. One says the Droian Shrine of Leaders. The other says Droian Outsiders Market. The Outsiders Market has a small vendor stall in front of it with a Droian serving up fresh fish and a squid-like creature.
Well, that definitely looks like a market down there from what it's saying on the sign here. So we need to meet with the leader of leaders, right? Which is following that direction over there.
You can read the sign. Let's go that way.
Yep. So at least that's what it looks like so far. So yeah, that's the way we need to go. We can probably stop by that market over there later. That looks interesting, but let's take a look at this leaders first.
Yeah, good job reading those signs. Let's go to the leaders.
As you approach the door, once again, there's 3 Royan set up in a arrangement to guard the door. As Otto shoos towards the door, a pair of them would put, spears cross lance in front of the door, as the third would approach you and croak out in a barely passable basic. Who are you?
I'm Professor Otto. I was told I could meet with the leader of leaders.
Please wait a moment. And then the one Trojan guard turns and heads inside. The other 2 allow him through, but then cross their spears again across the door.
I wait patiently with my hands out in front of me.
What's everybody else doing?
Standing behind Otto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Standing behind him, yes, trying to not, I don't know, trying to do the same kind of things where it makes sense.
A few moments pass, and the third guard comes back out, looks at Dr. Otto, and says, "You may enter." And he steps aside.
I turn back to Zigzag and say, the fish, the squid.
I hand it over to Otto, but then stand outside.
Okay. That's good, because if any of you did try to follow Otto, as soon as he goes to the door, the guards are going to cross their spears again. Otto, as you walk into this room, it is dimly lit by oil lanterns. There are electronic lights in the room. They're all off. The lanterns definitely seem to be a makeshift solution, and like the rest of the city up until this point, you see the sign. It looks like a massive power outage. Where there was power, there is no longer. There are 2 oddly technological-looking shrines in these quarters, both of which seem to have a housing of a decorative nature that is empty.
I look at all of those. I make it halfway across the room, and then I stop. And I realize I'm now holding a fish bag, and I hold my other hand out and look at the leader.
The leader takes steps forward and does the same sort of like you approach, he approaches, you approach, until you're standing on either side of this front table. He then lays a hand out, palm up.
I gently put my right hand, left hand still holding the fish, onto his palm.
Greetings, Dr. Weber. I have heard from my attaché, Jaffel, that you are here to help find the lost crystals. The power crystals of the ancients that have sustained this village since our arrival here. He looks at the bag. We could have provided you lunch if you were hungry.
Yes, leader of leaders. Actually, this came from us, from our ship, and I was always taught to bring something to a leader, and was curious if you wanted to eat it.
It's food. I assumed that by the way that you were carrying it. He holds his other hand out.
I put the bag in his hand.
He examines it closely and then sets it on the table. Perhaps in a moment, I appreciate the gesture. It was unnecessary. but I do appreciate it. Now, may I ask what you intend to do about the crystals and why you are here? Really, I have a hard time believing you would simply come help us out of the plain kindness of your heart.
The same people that stole your crystals stole things from us as well. We were hoping to retrieve the thing that they stole from us back, and I actually do really want to help you get your crystals back. But I seek knowledge, and anytime I learn of a crystal that can power an entire village, I kind of want to examine it and try to figure out what it is.
Interesting. Amongst my people, knowledge of the ancient magic is a forbidden technology except for those of the high priests. There's a deep lore amongst our people, and the details of which would both be uncomfortable to explain to an outsider and would take far too long to do in such a short setting. It's important for you to understand that I'm not trying to keep secrets from you as much as I'm not certain that this would be a beneficial use of your time. The short version of the history is that technology is what got our culture into the trouble that it was in, and therefore our ancestors decided to step away from technology. So we don't understand how these crystals work, only that when placed in these shrines, they generate power for this village.
It might be the receptacle itself and not the... No, again, I honestly want to help you get some crystals back. Do you have any knowledge on where the bad humans, where they went, what their plans were? Or could we investigate the ancient city beside you to see if there are other crystals we could replace them with?
We know exactly where the ones who took the crystals went. We sent dozens of our warriors to attempt to retrieve them, and none of them made it back alive. We have some advanced weapons. Not overly advanced, mind you, but we're not complete primitives. And if dozens of our soldiers with auto rifles who can fly couldn't take them down, I am concerned for the level of firepower these outsiders have. It's one of the reasons that Jaffel did not believe that you could retrieve the crystals. It is not meant to be meant as an insult to you. But there are only 4 of you.
Yes. We would not. Assaults are not things that we do well. We seek knowledge. We can make a robot. We can fix a broken arm, and we can sneak in and sneak out. And we were thinking more of a tactical steal instead of a full-on assault. That's not our strong suit at all.
An image of the planet appears in your head, and it shows roughly where you are in the village, and then it spins as though you are flying at high speed, passing well over the city and to what you can only describe as a ruined ancient site with various pillars and a oddly shaped temple. A group of serpent people, Serpentina, that's what they're called, and the familiar face of one of the crew members of the Zenith and Discovery are briefly shown in your mind, conversing as though you're watching them from the trees. And then the image fades away, and it gives you a pretty good idea of where the camp is that they're at. As the image fades away, Jati, the leader of leaders that you're speaking to, says, in your mind. I implore you not to risk your own life over this. We have lived without the amenities that have been provided by this ancient gift before, and will be able to do so again. I would prefer, of course, that we had power for this village. Without being able to power some of our devices here, it is almost certain that we will regress further than we already have. I personally believe that some technology is necessary for advanced living, for a culture to continue, for a population to grow. But the hardliners in our society almost see this as a blessing, as though the ancients themselves cursed these items and they were taken from us. So you'll find that people here have mixed feelings about your endeavors to retrieve them. I will also give you leave to explore the city if that is the route you wish to take. Understand, once again, that not many in this village consider the city to be cursed. Once you enter it, if you return, you may be treated with much more hostility than you have currently encountered.
Thank you. I blink a couple times, like spinning through planets is not something I do regularly. Spinning through planets is whew. Wow. Again, thank you.
Before you go, I appreciate this gift and the gesture. Allow me to give you something. And he reaches into a box on the table and pulls out a metal amulet and hands it to you. This amulet is a token of what we once were, and it may guide and protect you at some point.
Thanks for the guidance and protection, leader of leaders. Do you need me to report back to you at any time?
Only if you find the crystals.
Yeah, obviously. Thanks.
You are free to explore the city.
And we have the location of... Oh, that son of a bitch. Yes, thank you, and thank you for your protection.
He nods and releases your palm.
I take 3 steps back.
He does the same, and the ritual goes on.
And I make it to the door. Do they just automatically get out of my way?
Absolutely. In fact, seeing you, it's subtle, and I'm not sure that Otto would pick up on it. Actually, Otto's very socially adept. He probably would pick up on it. The guards actually seem to respect you considerably more. You didn't just walk in there like an outsider. You followed the ritual to the letter.
Oh man, if Otto found a playbook, he can follow a playbook. I nod at the guards as I go back to my crew. Guys, the zenith of discovery is here on this planet still. And if you give me a map, I can, draw where it is. I spun through the worlds. Oh, also, they said we could go... No, there's so many things right now. He gave me an... Alright, guys. Got it all together. So, talk to the leader of leaders. I saw through, I think it was another drone's eyes. I saw... I forget his name, but I saw a guy from the Zenith of Discovery talking to a Serpentina halfway across the planet. And then the leader of leaders said we had permission to go into the ancient city, but if we go there, we're going to be cursed. He also said they've sent dozens of their best warriors to try to get the crystals back, and they just keep getting slaughtered. So... there's a lot of things. And then he gave me this amulet that said it might guide and protect me.
Ooh, that looks nice. Can I see that?
Yeah, of course. What is there language on it?
I'm just gonna take a look at the outside of it. I'd like to see if there's any markings that I recognize.
So there's script that you would recognize as Droyan art, but not words.
So yeah, that's just more of an artistic type of thing. But yeah, this has looked great in the museum. So we're keeping this, right?
I mean, hopefully it's going to guide and protect us at some point throughout our journey. But
to be clear, it's not an ancient artifact. I mean, I guess you could say it's a Droyan artifact because it is something that they. I just forget I said anything there. But that was you jumped to a conclusion there that not necessarily you should have done.
Oh, anything that looks weird and strange, Reese is just like, okay, this needs to be shown.
Yes, but Reese is a super well-trained archaeologist and would totally understand the difference between this and an ancient Droyan artifact.
Gotcha, copy. Jonathan hands it back to Anya.
yeah, thanks. Do we want to go to the market now?
Sure.
Zigzag, I heard they're selling fish.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So as you walk up, this says Droyan Outsiders Market. You would see some of the humans in Vargar milling about, but as you start to walk up, they would very quickly vacate the premises. Like as soon as they see you, they would hurriedly finish their transactions and leave. As you walk up towards the outside Droyan vendor in broken basic, Yokao Win would say, "I'm Yokao Win. I am a proprietor of this fine establishment here." He waves at his fish and sushi stall, and pretty much every kind of fish, squid, etc. that can be pulled out of the river is on display here. Some of it's still alive. Much of it is either being dried or prepared in some pickling liquid.
Wow. You guys want to try some fresh umami?
You, sir, sound like you are a culinary expert.
Well, I've dabbled. What's this? It's blue.
Oh, that's a curfish.
Is it got like a tangy flavor to it, or what's the palate there?
They're a little sweet right out of the water. However, he pulls a jar of blue semi-translucent liquid that has many of the small fish inside of it. And he opens the lid and extends the jar out towards you. Try one that's been pickled for 6 months.
I'll reach in there. I'll try that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a endurance check. As this is... I mean, it's like drinking brining liquid. It's not unpleasant, but it's really potent. It makes you, your face kind of suck in. Did you pass the endurance check?
I got a 12.
Excellent. So you also get an immediate euphoric hit, as though you've just taken a hit off of some narcotic.
Whoa, man.
It's very fleeting, but it is immediate.
You guys gotta try this squid. Fish. Hey, actually, second thought. I don't know if you guys want to try this. I buy a bottle.
Okay.
I'll wait for you to prepare it.
Yeah, this one might not be shared.
I have many more, and others like it, if that was enjoyable to you. He pulls out another that is full of tiny little beads that are greenish in color. When I say tiny, I mean like they're the size of the dots on your dice. But there's like 100,000 of them in this jar, almost like fish roe or caviar. He's like, would you care to try the eggs of the curfish?
Yeah, you got a spoon? Or should I just reach in there?
So traditionally, we use a small piece of wood that is a specialist device, and he pulls one out, and it's basically just a carved little wooden paddle, and he provides it to you with a scoop already on it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stick that in my maw.
Okay, go ahead and roll an endurance again. You need a 10 to pass this one.
I got an 8.
You fall over backwards, but you don't remember any of it. 2 minutes later, you come back to your senses.
Guys, what just happened?
Every time you... Go ahead.
Hey, Zigzag, you enjoying the mushrooms over there?
These hit harder than the mushroom. I liked the mushroom. I liked the mushroom.
Every time you break... If you've ever eaten fish roe, you know sometimes you'll bite down on one that got stuck in your teeth. Every time you do that, you get like an aftershock of a narcotic hit.
Oh, goodness.
Is he all right, Doc?
He'll be fine.
This place is trouble.
I have things that are more tame, young one, if you want something without so much kick. Perhaps you prefer spicy?
My friends here are less of the spicy sort, and we're gonna be here for a while, and we've got to share a tent, so I'd rather not have them have gas, if you know what I'm saying.
Totally trying the spicy.
Completely understand. Now, if you say you want to try it, he hands you an immediate, like, toothpick style. It's just a piece of fish. Once again, it was in a pickling liquid. It is the kind of fire red that screams, I am spicy.
Let's do it.
Roll your endurance check.
Doctor, if you eating unknown things.
Now you have an ulcer.
Oh, I'll be fine. It'll be fun.
8?
10?
10. Oh, you're good. You take down one. It's amazingly spicy, but it also is really good. But you can feel it. You know how when you've eaten something really spicy and you can feel it traveling down your esophagus and into your stomach? It's that level spicy, and you are doing okay, and you are wise enough to understand that it will get harder the more of them you eat. Also, Yokal is thrilled at everyone being so adventurous and has started to put together these little sample boxes that are like Valentine's Day chocolate boxes, but filled with all sorts of different of these delights. And he's just passing them out to the party members, basically like, here, take free samples. He's very excited that people are buying these, or people are interested in them.
That sample pack. Oh, that's very generous.
Yeah.
That wasn't too spicy, Doc, was it?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to you. I think it was awesome. But it's got a kick.
You just got food here?
That's my stall. Is this individual? He waves to the door. The market is run by the rest of my group, and they would be happy to sell you any wares you want. They have quite a bit.
It was real fun to meet you. Do we need anything from inside? We might as well look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
I was about to say, you're going to ask if you need anything from inside before you even go inside. So you walk in, and this is... You can tell this market has been set up, once again, exclusively for people of roughly human size. And first off, you recognize packaged canned food, bread, the water. Like, all of these consumable items are of normal human or Vargar origin. They are brands you recognize, albeit some of the containers might be a little old. They are built for your kind. Also, there is a wide array in the back corner of various weapons and things and gadgets and gizmos that have been either fashioned here for outsiders or are from the outside. And this vending machine over here is the way you would access that. So, by the way, Yokao gave you that jar of the pickled stuff. He did not ask for anything in return.
Oh my.
It's important to understand that you may have noticed that they don't handle money here.
I'm going to just assume it's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to roll a diplomat roll, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
See if this might help me. Oh yeah, got an 8.
He was genuinely giving you a gift. He's very excited to have a kindred spirit. And he does hope for trade, but as you walk in here and see the way things are laid out, it dawns on you that he's probably eager to trade, partially because you guys almost certainly have items from the outside world that would be of great barter value here. Things they cannot procure except through a visitor like yourself, that don't necessarily mean a lot to you.
Trying to think of things back in my pack that I might use for trade. I know Dr. Otto just got some priest goggles, so I might steal those.
My goodness. Oh, they can't use those here. I mean, they could. But
Yeah, they could.
Well, as
They
long
would
as
be very useful.
as long as they get power to charge them.
Yeah, what they need is a generator.
I mean, they need us to find those crystals and bring them back. And we need to find Zenith's crew.
Do we?
No, we
Fuck
just
those
need
guys.
to find their ship and break into it and steal the Droyan coin back.
We should
Is that
poison
all?
their food. And then while they puke their guts out, we get on board their ship and take their stuff back.
And time it out so that we can hide for 2 weeks in the jungle.
Oh yeah, we'll have to like recon and watch over them and see what their schedules are like. And if they've got Serpentina people, like we'll have to figure that out.
We probably shouldn't be having this conversation in the market. Let's get back to our ship. Thanks, guys. We need to bring some stuff to barter.
Indeed. Do you guys go the entire kilometer back to your camp?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go back.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to close the map because now that you guys have seen it, I can just leave this here. So, what are you guys going to do? You have plenty of time to talk it out. You've got 2 weeks till pick up.
So we've lost 1 day to wait in to go talk to the Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader said we can either look in the ancient village right beside us, he called it the city, or we can... like the whole point of us being here is to try to get back the ancient artifact, the coin. And we know that the Zenith is here on the planet, and going there is scary.
Do we know that they have the coin on the planet?
True. And we know that we'd have the element of surprise. They don't know we're here yet. I think we should go check out the... We should see if there's another test temple and see if there may be a crystal down there. That might be the way forward without craziness.
I think part of our other mandate of coming here is not just to go get the coin back, but to find out, excuse me, what they're trying to do. Like, they have the coin, they have these 3 power crystals. We need to go figure out what they're doing with them, and we can either bust into their camp and try to figure it out that way, which I highly recommend against, or we go to the city and see what we can figure out from the ancients.
I like the idea of going over and investigating the ancients, see what's going on in that. I do have a question for Dr. Otto. Are we going to have any issues coming back in the city? I mean, they said that ancient place was pretty bad, right?
They said that there's a curse there, and if we go back in the city afterwards, people might treat us with more hostility.
Okay.
But they, like all cultures and civilizations, they have some people who are against the... yeah, he also shared, like, just deep context of the Droyan, where they were extremely technologically advanced, but that had unlocked something, and their ancient culture decided to turn away from the technology, and it just lay dormant. And now there are some hardliners that exist inside of their Droyan village here, and they want to continue to turn away from the technology, and they think that it was a blessing that the crystals were stolen from them. And there are some, like the leader of Leader, who says, it's pretty nice to have a modern life with a little bit of amenities from technology, but too much is also probably bad, so he's finding a nice middle ground. So yeah, could be cursed by going into a village, but rather be cursed than killed by the Zenith's crew. But also, if we go investigate the village, then the Zenith's crew might move away, but it's a lot safer. So I, too, vote for let's going into the ancient city.
Oh, I'm even more interested now after that explanation, so...
You want to get cursed?
Oh, no, I don't really exactly believe that there's a curse over there, but I do believe there's going to be some cool stuff that we can find.
Just so we're all aware, we've already been called out for stealing their heritage.
Again, I'll rephrase what I said. More stuff to learn than to take. So I know that we do have one amongst ourselves here that does have sticky fingers. So yeah, we won't be doing that.
Just because I can climb up walls doesn't mean they're sticky.
Oh, I wasn't referring to you, Zigzag.
Oh, sorry.
Just because I stole a very advanced piece of technology and it came back, and that itself was also cursed, doesn't mean I won't do it again.
Oh yeah, see, I was hoping you'd learn your lesson from that experience, but I'm concerned.
You guys are missing a key point in your deliberations, and without an NPC here to allow me to inject it subtly, I'll just say, everybody roll me an intellect check. Whoever scores highest is going to have a thought.
Eight.
Also 8.
11.
How did you get Snake Eyes and get an 8 kill?
I rolled 2 3s.
I got a 4.
Oh, that looks like Snake Eyes from over here. And I see now that it's 2 3s. Okay. Okay, so who is the highest?
Ghost.
Ghost?
11.
Zigzag, as a professor, specifically who has studied the Droyan, it's actually quite appropriate that you score the highest here. Because your desire to go get back what was stolen should be the highest. You realize that the city will be here for decades to come. But it's very likely the Zenith of Discovery will only be here for a very short time.
I just thought of a good point, though. We don't have really a time frame with the city, and the the zenith of discovery could leave at any moment. We have a lead there, so maybe we should check them out before we go to the city. No, there's no time gate on visiting the city.
Well, with that information, I'm loose. We can pick a direction. I'm not as urgent to get over there now.
Your logic is sound, Zigzag.
Now, that was a good thought. We need to go kind of fast, but still be safe and sneaky.
Do some recon. Where did you say it was? We should show you a map.
Yeah. Hold on, let me spin through the planet again.
You guys are back at the ship, so you would be able to use its holographic navigation system to find the location, but you could also, if you wanted, Kizik, Otto could try to draw it. Like, he could try to draw images of the site he saw on paper.
Yeah, Otto is kind of touched by the turn away from technology and thinks that that's going to be better.
Give me a admin intellect roll.
Uh, 11 plus 2 is 13.
Okay, that's a 13. That is a plus 5. Not a plus 6, but a plus 5. Okay, anyone who wants to make a recon check based on these drawings, or any type of archaeological check about the site that has been put out there, or any other check that you could discern from being able to see basically what Otto saw, can attempt to make it with a plus 5 off this drawing.
I would like to do an archaeology check on it.
Okay.
I'll go with navigation.
Okay. Good thoughts.
Did a recon. Got 13.
Okay. I'll start with you because you finished first. With the recon, the ship is parked. There's obviously an archaeological dig going on. There's some kind of ruins here. And there are probably an entire mixed platoon, I'm going to say, of Serpentina infantry, armed with energy weapons and composite armor.
Sheesh.
Otto wouldn't necessarily know what those weapons are. But you can sit here and flick through the encyclopedia just trying to match up. Like, you're taking the drawing and matching it up to armor you know of until you find relevant armor. Who finished next?
Archaeology 9.
Excellent. Actually, you probably find the most important piece of data. You recognize the site. Even though it's been beaten down into nearly rubble, it's obviously one of their astronomical cartography labs. It's possible that there is some sort of star map or other site that is being pointed to, led to, that there's some way to interpret this site or activate this site in such a way that it will point to or from something. Who's next?
I got 10 with navigation.
You can plot a route that will take you there. There are 2 routes you could take. You could walk it. It would probably take 3 days for you guys to walk all the way over there. You'd have to go around the city if you didn't want to pass through it. Passing through it would be faster, but there's obviously the risks of whatever is in the city. Or you could fly there in probably 10 minutes and land far enough away that you could hike the rest of the way in. With your score, you can do either one. Isaac? Or did Kizik not? Oh, that's right. Kizik was the original person.
I drew it.
Yeah. Good job. Good drawing. So with that new information,
Hey guys, I totally recognize this place. I've seen this before. This is some type of really like a special cartography site. It's like ruins, but there may be an opportunity for us to get like a star map, or we'll be able to get some type of like a bearing onto something if we go and check this place out.
I can get us there. We can either hoof it through the city and whatnot, which will take us 3 days on. So basically, between there and back, just travel time. That's a week. Or we could fly and just land the car a little bit further away and hoof it in from there.
Yeah, as long as we try to keep it stealthy, because they've got a platoon of serpentine of people with armor and assault weapons. Why would they need that? You said it's some sort of cartography station? They would need a platoon of serpentine. Man.
It's really odd. Yeah, it's like some kind of mapping site. They're obviously looking over it.
Okay. Well, my vote is to sneak in. We could even, camp out over there. Just stealthily.
Could we fly in stealthily, or does our ship make too much noise?
I mean, if that just depends on how far away you want to park the ship. We can definitely park the ship far enough away that it doesn't make any noise. It just means we have to walk further to get near them.
But that's better than walking straight from here to there and taking a whole week to get there.
Well, 3 days to get there. We'll eventually have to come back for another 3 days. And it's through the big, dangerous, cursed city.
That's to go around. It would be slightly less to go through.
Right. Sorry, thank you. I recommend flying. We've got sensors like on the ship, and we have sensor masts, so we can, I can do my best to keep it as low as possible, and see what we can find out on our way over there, and then park far enough away to, park a couple kilometers away, and then hoof it in.
Yeah, we need to use passive sensors so that they don't know we're there.
Okay. At least long enough to recognize that they're not using active sensors, and if they're not, then depending. But yes, stealth mode. Woo!
All right, let's break it down, pack her up, and let's get out of here.
Okay. You guys are gonna break down your campsite? Are you gonna fly over there during the day or the night?
As stealthily as possible.
Stealth mode, nighttime.
Nighttime.
Okay.
So, odd question on functions of grav vehicles. Do the engines on these things emit light?
They emit a glow at close range, but you would hear them long before you would see them. So it's not going to give you away unless someone happens to be looking directly at you with a telescope.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going at night. So what that does make you harder to detect, but it also makes the flying check more difficult.
Hey guys, can I take a nap before we do this?
If you feel like you have to.
I mean, we've been up all day. And I think we fly in, we sleep first, fly in the early morning, so we have some amount of rest, because this isn't going to be a rapid thing that we're doing. And if you want me to fly super close to the Earth, rest is probably good.
Definitely. Rest up.
All right. You guys have a good meal, a little bit of sleep. I will give Ronan a +1 for preparing for doing this. I will also allow someone, since he's going to be flying at night, even if it is early morning, someone can be helping watch the sensors, the terrain following, and give him a boost if they would like to.
I would like
That's
to do
smart. Yeah, do it.
Right, so make sure I understand this correctly. I have a +1 and a boost dice, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dealing a pink die.
Helped?
Good thing. Yeah, definitely helped. So drop the 1, add the 1, and add the 2 dexterity, which puts it up to 10.
Okay. 10 is a pass. So you pull the Scarlet into, you called it right, into a clearing that's just far enough away that you're certain it's outside of the range of which you would be able to hear through a forest the engines. You set it down. Do you guys immediately establish camp, or do you want to move in towards them while it's still dark?
Yeah, I think we should move in and try to do some recon right now.
I'm gonna quickly do some quick stealth work on the ship and try to camouflage the car a little bit before we move in.
Okay, pull some
But not-
camo net over the top.
Yeah, quickly, not like an in-depth hide it, but like a stop anybody from like just flying over. Like, hey, there's a white and orange car over there.
Stealth check. And whoever's going in the advanced party towards the camp, give me a stealth check.
I'm going with zigzag.
Stealth is dexterity, correct?
Yes, it
Definitely
is.
stealthing.
9 on stealth check.
11.
Oh, I'm gonna ruin it. Sorry, zigzag. You got a 5.
I got a 9.
Okay. You guys have enough effect that you can make up for Dr. Otto's lack of complete stealthness. Because he only needed, what was it, 1? I'm going to take that silence as yes, so it was just 1 off.
Yep.
And you guys approach. It's deep at night, so a number of the staff, a number of the serpents you guys saw in the drawing or Otto in his picture, are in these prefab shelters that were obviously pulled off of the Zenith and Discovery. There are a handful of patrols walking around, and there are floodlights all around the actual site. Who has anything like electrobinoculars or a rifle scope?
I actually have regular binoculars, but I don't know.
Those would still work because there's spotlights on the site.
Okay, I'm gonna use those to check things out.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have electronic binoculars.
Okay, those are even better. No Ronin can see things. No dubs.
Just regular ones.
Okay.
I can see an infrared anyway, so the binoculars might help.
Okay. Everybody give me recon checks. What was that, Ronan?
Do you want me to give the players the information that we've previously discussed to make it easier on all of us?
If you feel like now's the moment, yes. You don't have to. The characters don't have to know, but the players would probably be helpful.
Sorry, the players. So just so everybody's aware, if you're wondering why I can do some of the things that I can do, if you look at the bottom right part of my character sheet, my character has quite a few bionics. So I have like goggles like built into my eyeballs.
That's sweet.
So characters don't know that. But if you're ever wondering like why I can do some of the things like breathing underwater longer than everybody, and toxins don't affect me and whatnot. It's because I'm half bionic.
Cool.
But again, just so I don't have to try to secretly talk back and forth to GM about all that. But players don't know. Or sorry, characters don't know.
Characters don't know. Players don't know. That it does make it easier on me. All right, let's get these recon checks.
I got an 8.
I got a 13.
Got a 5.
I got a 7.
Any of the people who passed have archaeology as a skill.
I do.
Please make an archaeology roll using the effect of your recon check as a bonus.
I didn't get any. It's okay. 9.
Oh, just by the skin of your teeth. So, you look at the site, John Reese has already described to you what the cartography site is. And you can see them mucking around with this pillar that is obviously a tool for the cartography site. You can see, like, your eyes freeze and lock on to the actual rebirth medallion. They've got it with them. And they're trying to figure out how to fit it. They think it should slot into it, obviously. They've got a portable computer running models of everything. There's like lasers bouncing off everything. But you've seen this diagram when you were in the last temple. It's buried under rubble now, and they never went inside, so they didn't see the diagrams on the wall that now make perfect sense. That medallion doesn't go on the obelisk. It goes on the well here, and projects onto sections of the obelisk, revealing the answers to whatever it is they're looking for. But they don't seem to know that because they didn't go into the library.
My apologies for interrupting. Did anybody else lose him there for a good 10-15 seconds?
No, I heard all of it.
Nope.
Okay. Then just mine went. I lost you for about 15 seconds. Sorry.
Those idiots are trying to stick the coin straight into the obelisk. But they have completely missed. The coin needs to go into this well. Over here to the... You guys see that well over there?
Medallion.
Sorry, the medallion. Alright. Enemy count. How many do you see?
Those of you who passed your recon check will see all that are on the board.
10, I count.
Oh, what's with that weird looking lady?
I don't know.
One of the lenses in my binocular is really foggy or clouded up. But what do you guys see? How many?
There's
10 and 2 with those ladies. They look very similar. Oh, are you talking about Lauren?
no, there's like a glowy kind of lady. Her hair is beautiful. Sorry. Like, should we try to take? No, there's so many like guards on patrol. How are we gonna get it back?
Well, a straight up fight was a bad idea. The Dronian already told us that. We might be able to lead them away with a good distraction.
I like that. Sounds like a good idea. What do you guys think?
What do we do when we lead them away?
I just like the idea of a distraction to kind of get them to look at something else, sleight of hand type stuff,
Sure, but what are we distracting them from?
We'll take the coin. Sorry, medallion. So, like, one of us makes a big old distraction, gets them to chase him, and then the rest of you come in and take the medallion by force.
So we want one person to make a distraction, and 3 people to sneak in and grab the medallion.
Yeah, because we're, obviously not all of them are going to go after one person. But say like one of us sneaks aboard the Zenith of Discovery and makes it go poof. You know, not necessarily boom, not necessarily just a poof. Could be very bad for them.
Are we able to connect to that ship remotely and start turning it on and turning lights on and make it look like somebody's there?
Good, that's a lot. I don't know how to do that.
You have to go in through their communications array and then jump systems to... Oh, maybe. But, I mean, if we could sneak on board, then you don't need to hack it remotely. It's just all right there.
I'm just trying to reduce the risk of being caught.
Yeah, it just increases the technological knowledge that you need to breach those systems.
What about terrain here? Is this all like a grassy area?
So this is a clearing in the middle of a dense forest. The area you guys are in would be the perimeter of the clearing. And, I mean, it's an old growth forest. So a lot of the floor is dead because the trees have blotted out the light, so the undergrowth can't really grow too well. The middle of the clearing is almost pristine, and this temple on the other side is the kind you can walk up to the top, and there probably are even rooms you could go into inside, but it's more or less sealed. But you would know by looking at it, and because you already passed your archaeology roll, I'll make you roll again, that the temple is a much newer construction. While still old and ancient by your standards, it's nothing compared to the age of the site that's in ruins.
The obelisk. Okay. Well, gents, what's the vote? We could maybe use the Zenith of Discovery against them. Oh, if somebody could get on board and use the turret. I'm more of the sneaky guy that could go after the medallion. What do you guys think?
I'm also relatively sneaky, and the computers guy.
Do you have some kind of intrusion software on your phone there?
Double checking. I got decryption, but not intrusion.
Put that on your list to buy.
I need a phone that has more bandwidth to use it.
No. You can have as many programs as you want. Your bandwidth is how many you can use at one time.
Fair. Thank you.
I was going to suggest maybe Reese's little pink flip phone, but no.
No, I can't pair that. Oh, maybe I could pair that with the Zenith's Wi-Fi. That's probably...
Yeah, Dr. Otto said my phone's awesome, so yeah, I think it could help.
Alright, so you're going to sneak aboard and use your phone to hack their systems?
Oh, not me. I have no idea how to do that stuff.
If that's what you want me to do.
So we could go... Oh man, I'm not sneaky at all. That makes me the bait. I don't... Oh man. So...
Make you the bait?
I said I didn't want to be the bait, but I'm also not sneaky at all, and I am aware of all of those things.
That wasn't what I was implying. Did you not bring Gus?
Gus isn't. Is Gus sneaky?
No, but he could be the bait.
Gus is the bait? Oh my goodness.
Before we enact any of this, like, okay, we go in and we grab the medallion, then what?
Then we just have to hide out for 2 weeks.
Is that all?
And find crystals for the other Droian. Well, they have the crystals here too. Did we get eyes on those?
You did not see those.
Maybe they're on board the ship.
Now, could you use the crystals to do something with that obelisk? Are they trying to power that whole ancient city?
Do we see anything where the crystals could be? Out in the open?
Not that you would recognize now.
So we don't know what and or who is on board the ship. What do you want me to do, Doc? Standing by to do it.
Yeah, so it's late now. We also can go back and rest and think it all the way through again.
It's early now.
Yeah, early morning. I'm getting kind of tired. Do we want to just attack them right now, or do we want to watch them, see if they can try to figure out where that thing goes, see how many actual people are here, not just their late night skeleton crew? Because if we try to sneak aboard that ship and it's just full of hundreds more of these soldiers, that might be not. I should probably figure out how many people are on the, or could possibly be crew of the Zenith.
Yeah, but there could be like a platoon of Serpentina, so there's probably upwards to 30 total. You know, I only see, what, 8, 7 here right now. So yeah, you're right. It is early and they might be sleeping, but do you want to set it up? We could take turns and recon through the day, try to figure things out. But it's up to you. You're the leader.
Yeah, let's watch them for a day. Take turns, rotate in. I think snatch and grab is probably good. We need good communications to know if they look like they're moving out or getting close to figuring out where they're supposed to put the medallion. We need to stay hidden really well. We'll make a big move like day 2, maybe, instead of just right now instantly, because that's a lot of time it's a lot of unknowns before we start sneaking in there.
Look, we're on a time crunch right now too. If they figure it out, we're gonna have to move on them immediately. We can't risk it.
So you want to snatch and grab now?
I know, I'm saying we should do the recon, but somebody needs to be on the lookout all the time to make sure that they don't figure out where to put that medallion. Because if they figure out where to stick it, it's not good.
Okay. Who's taking first shift? You, because you're most invested.
I have to go coffee. I'll be up for a while.
All right, we'll go throw together a very stealthy campsite, and we'll rotate out every 4 hours.
We need survival and stealth checks.
Oh man, boxcars plus 4 for my stealth.
Oh. Hold that thought. Because boxcars plus 4 is a critical. What everybody else get?
8 on my survival and 14 on my stealth.
Okay. I only need stealth from the people who are watching. I assumed that you were doing one or the other, but we'll save that 14 because it's really good for when you come up for your next shift.
Roger.
Was anybody else watching with Ghost is kind of what I need to know. That's the most important critical question to be answered right this second.
I'll watch with him. So got a 9. I got a 9 on my survival.
Right, so if you did survival, you're not like you guys are missing the point. You're either going and setting up the camp or you're on watch. And I really just want to know who's with Ghost right now.
I think he was by himself.
Okay. That is what I thought, but I needed to know so that we didn't have, because he just said, "Oh, I'll watch with him," without understanding the context of the question. Because
I got confused. Yep.
Because what's going to happen here is I'm going to offer Ghost an opportunity with a critical. There's a moment where you see a break in the patterns, and there are a number of crates and other things that are located here behind these shelters. And you're certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you could infiltrate the camp right now and get all the way here, hiding in those crates. And you might even have an opportunity to either gather additional intelligence, or you, even in your hope of hope, maybe grab the disc or the medallion while they're not looking.
I do it. I don't warn anybody, and I tell, I'm like, ask forgiveness later. And I make a dash.
Okay. Which is why I needed to know if anyone was with him. Okay. You make it all the way to the crates. Give me just a straight D6. Just one.
Six.
Oh, man. Okay. Few things are going to happen here. I have to make some tactical decisions. First off, you look through the crates. These crates contain, amongst other things, their rifles. Apparently they store them in these crates while they're sleeping. There's probably more inside in there with them, but this looks like they're long arms, like if they fall under attack. They are cartridge laser magazines, or cartridge laser rifles, so they're laser rifles that take magazines. You also find food rations here. You find a number of different valuable artifacts, including 3 glowing red crystals.
These the crystals I need.
They do very much look like it, but they glow, not insignificantly. And as you're looking at them, you see that this synthetic Unity Priestess and Lauren Springfield they're in basically a shouting match. They are having a incredible argument, the gist of which is basically you can discern that the Priestess got the crew of the Zenith of Discovery working under somewhat duress and is pressuring them to work harder and faster, and why haven't you figured it out yet? And Lauren's just had enough and has kind of turned on her to, vent her frustration. But in doing so, they are concentrating on themselves and not on the medallion.
Oh no. Okay. I am hidden here pretty damn well. I have decisions to make, and so I know where the medallion is, and they're not paying attention to it. The crystals are over here, along with food rations and ammo. Or sorry, just the rifles.
You brought rifles and ammo. This is basically their supply dump you're hiding in. Ooh, let me roll something real fast. Let me muddy these waters. You also find 5 hand grenades.
But that didn't muddy the waters at all. That cleared things right up. I'm going to poison the food.
Okay. How long does it take you to poison food? Or I should say, how long are you going to take? Because that'll determine the difficulty of the check.
Well, what's the quantity of food here? You said it's their supply dump?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a significant margin. You would judge that this could sustain 20 to 25 people for a month. It's a lot.
Are they chemical grenades?
No, they are fragmentation grenades.
Alright, let me have a think for a second of how to poison these.
Actually, you invented the Serpentina as a race, and I have a few notes on them. One of the things we never talked about, even though I based their appearance on king cobras, was whether or not they are venomous in nature and whether or not they would incorporate that venom into their weaponry. With that said, they're probably immune to their own venom.
Yeah, I always imagined them as being slightly venomous, and even like using their own venoms to control, like in the hierarchy of Serpentina people. So they could be susceptible to their own venoms.
Okay, wow. I accept that. You invented them. If they're acceptable to it, I would say their hand grenades are probably coated in a layer of venom, so that when they explode, the pieces of the shrapnel carry the venom with them.
I'm really trying to think of how to poison everybody. Could use their venom. Could use some other supplies. They're laser weapons, right? They have... Is it a chemical pack for the ammo?
It is a chemical pack. They are prone to exploding, like a lithium cell when it detonates one cell after another, except much more explosive.
So if I take it apart wrong, it could blow up in my face.
Yep.
Would that poison these things?
The contents
Or
of the battery
poison their
packs?
food supply?
I have
Yeah.
to imagine I wouldn't want to drink battery acid.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Okay. That's my strongest theory so far.
Okay. You're only going to have time to really act on one of these three paths.
I'm gonna run and get the medallion. I'm sorry for wasting everybody's time. I've got this opportunity. It's gonna happen.
Okay. So what I need from you is a stealth check first. And if you fail that, we're going to go into using its effects in a chase scene.
Oh boy. Okay. And no one knows I'm here. This is the awful worst thing.
This is how Zigzag dies.
Yeah, this is. Shit. 8 for my stealth.
Okay. An 8 is not a fail. Alright, so you run out here and you grab the medallion. Get it put on the map for you so you can see it again. You run out here, you grab the medallion, you have not been seen. As you pick it up, you see that these two guards have moved over to the supply depot where you just were. So running back the exact same way isn't something you can do. You either need to sprint or you need to try to stealthily make your way to a hiding place.
Yep, I'm gonna slowly, with the medallion, ease back into the darkness. Maybe stealth over this tower thing is still kind of standing here.
Okay. If you're going to try to climb the tower, I'm going to use your stealth skill because climbing is not an issue for you.
Oh yeah, boxcars +3.
Boxcars +3. One off from doing another critical. Okay. You hide there. Lauren and the priestess finish their conversation, come back, and then they're like, "Where is the medallion?" They start yelling. They've discovered that it's missing. The guards come running from here, and from here they run right past your position because you are so well hidden. And you're able to drop down on the other side and run all the way back into the woods. The camp starts going on alert. There's a klaxon going on. Everyone's waking up out of their tents. They are aware that someone is here. What do you do?
Well, I'm gonna head back to the camp, and I'm gonna wake up Mr. Dr. Weber. Otto! Hey, Otto!
You're supposed to be watching the medallion.
It's your turn next. It's your turn to watch.
Okay.
The camp's kind of freaking out right now. I think one of the girls lost the medallion. And then I pull the medallion out, and I'm like, because they lost the medallion!
Oh my goodness! Oh shoot, we gotta be quiet. Oh shit, we have to hide?
We've got to go back and get the crystals, and the crystals are in their supply depot, which is over by the prefab shelters. And they are losing their shit because they lost the medallion, but I think after a while they're gonna send a lot of guys out to look for whoever took the medallion, which was me. Look at this thing.
Again, I hold my palm out and go, psionic high five. Well done. That's, oh my goodness, you've been looking for this forever, and we've got it back now.
I'm gonna keep it this time too. Okay, so what we gotta focus on now is the crystals. The crystals are super bright red, so I couldn't just pull them out because everybody would have noticed.
All right, so you want to go back to a camp that's on high alert because their most important thing was taken, to take other things from it.
Look, I know I didn't make things easy, but I had to take the opportunity.
Nope. You say no more. You have the thing that, the whole point of us being here, and I cannot be more happy. But we might need to run away, because
The sounds
they're looking
of
for things.
starship engines in the distance can be heard coming to life.
Dr. Zane, Reese, we need to... How secure is this? They're going to scan us and find us immediately, right? We need to run.
What's going on?
They're actively searching for things. We need to figure out how to get out of here. Or we need to trust our hidden ship won't get found by their scans as they start scanning.
I'm gonna take the medallion and melt out into the darkness, and maybe I can hide. If they find you, then at least we're separated. Then we'll get the medallion back.
Zigzag's got a very fierce and scared look in his eye.
Dr. Zane, can the ship... Are we just going to outrun them? No, they have a starship that's so much bigger and faster than ours.
Yeah, that we're not running the starship, and the probability of them not finding the car if we turn it on is probably unlikely. Depending on what kind of sensors the thing has, we don't know.
It's a safari ship designed to hunt wild game.
Oh yeah, no, we're screwed. We are We are not like our little car is going to be found if we turn it on.
You did not interpret that the way.
It's also going to find us because it's designed to find us.
You guys should get out of here. It takes 3 days. I'll walk back, and I'll meet you back at the city.
Are you exothermic? Something
really
wild game. Can you control your body temperature so you blend in with the ambient temperatures around you?
The sound of the engines is revving to the point where you're pretty sure they're about to lift off.
All right, we need to get in our car and we need to go, right now, before they can get the ship up, because we can still get out of their sensors, and we still have a hike to get to our ship.
Yeah, we've got 2 weeks. All right, get on board. Let's go.
Get those engines going. Gotta run.
All right. Everybody gets into the car, and Rex, give me a G vehicle check.
That's a good day to get a 12.
It is a good day to get a 12. What is your tactic?
So I am going to go as fast as possible, as low as possible, and in a directly away from them path to give the smallest radar signature available to them, and ducking behind like any terrain, so like hills, anything like that, like staying below them, and doing my best to not give them the side of the car to light up their radar with.
Okay. Now, this meant that you did leave behind all of your camping supplies. So there is that, but you do, with your 12, successfully evade the starship. You're right. If it knew exactly where you were in a direct chase, it would have been able to probably track and then eventually catch you. Starships aren't designed to operate in atmosphere except for takeoff and landing, so it probably wouldn't have outrun you, but it would have eventually been able to chase you down. However, if you get away far enough, fast enough, and terrain follow, its radar and lidar aren't any more impressive than anything else. And if it can't see your ship, then it can't see it. Running into the woods, it would have been able to find you. So you do manage to pull away from this thing. You can see on your passive sensors as it's doing a sweep all around the site. The entire site has come alive, and they are mad as a nest of hornets that's just been smacked.
Zigzag, smacker of hornets. Yeah, fuck them. I don't know what we're gonna do about the crystals, though.
We can still go to the city.
Go to the ancient city.
Yeah.
Look for another one.
Yep. But we gotta hide the car real good. Like, in a cave, kind of good. Like,
Bury it.
It's like a cave. Can we find a cave?
I mean, the cave is an idea. Like, there's other ways to do it, but would take some time and a lot of work with the camouflaging of it to truly blend it in, both visually and mask it from electronics. You also, that concept of going back to the village is probably a bad idea, because they're like, who's gonna know that they have this thing or what this thing is? They're probably going to eventually at some point go back to the village and try to see what they can figure out there.
Well, we do have like 4 days worth of life support on this grav vehicle. Is it possible that it's watertight, where we could submerge it and be underneath the water during that time?
It is not. That is a special upgrade that you need.
Good idea, though. I like the idea, but then how would we get out of the car?
Oh, we just stay in it.
4 days with
4
you
days.
guys.
Well, if you just stay in it, you could also go to space.
The bento boxes, damn it, we left them behind.
Yep. Food, camping supplies, whole 9 yards.
I'm gonna go back tonight.
No. Gone. Bye-bye.
The bento boxes.
You did get a new can of blue squid.
Yeah, I honestly, the bento boxes were the obvious thing to trade to that guy. And I was really surprised that you're like, well, I know somebody's got a really expensive set of goggles.
But, yeah.
Yep. Let's hide our ship as best as we can.
Where?
Go find a good spot. Look for a cave. Not close to the village. I'm a little bit concerned about going back and getting the crystals, but I'm more concerned about not being found.
I mean,
zoomed away, so let's do some scanning. I don't know if scanning's the right word, but let's find a good spot to put her down.
okay.
Or do you want to go to space for a couple of days?
In a cab the size of a Toyota Corolla.
So we're on the same page as somebody who has experienced that kind of lifestyle. Be careful what you wish for.
I've done long
Notice-
road trips.
Of note, in space, there are no bathrooms.
No one can hear you scream. Yeah, I'm gonna do a recon roll if you don't mind, and try to find a beautiful, perfect place to land the ship and then hide it, maybe under an overhang of some sort. No whammies, no whammies. It's a 9.
There's plenty of spots in the city. Dilapidated skyscrapers that have half fallen down, parking garages, lots of metallic buildings that would hide a signature if Euro engines were off in there. Of course, you don't know what else is in there that might kill you, but that would work. Unfortunately, the terrain of this world is mostly deep forest and rivers. So in your immediate flyable vicinity, and you also have to account for fuel, by the way. It's not just life support. If you guys go a long distance, like to explore too much further, or if you go to space, you're going to be expending a significant amount of your fuel.
You know where we might be safest is the city, but then again, we'd have to deal with the curse. If you believe in that kind of thing, the curse.
So, again, Mr. Pros and Cons over here. We have to deal with the curse, but we also have to figure out what they're looking for as well, not just running off with the medallion, because they're just gonna eventually follow us or find another one. Like, we have to figure out what they're doing and why. Which we might be able to find some of that out in the city.
Take us to the city.
Roger. To the city we go.
Alright. Give me a fly check followed by a stealth check. Use the effect of the first on the second.
This is cursed. That is cursed.
9? No, 8.
Okay.
So,
No
no effect. But a negative effect. 13.
Okay. You find a perfect parking garage. It was almost made for this purpose. There's enough metal and cement above you that it's very unlikely that if the ship is off, or the car is off, that it's going to be detected. And it allows ground level access to the street, so if you guys want to explore the city, you can.
Sweet.
And with 10 minutes left, I say that's a really good stopping point.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry I put that all on you, Ghost, but it was the perfect moment for Zigzag, and you critical.
Yeah, I kind of had to take that opportunity. I'm sorry, everybody.
So,
Oh, good. It went well.
everybody has their moment. Zigzag just had an opportunity to have his.
It's better than falling off a building.
I also wasn't sure which
jump.
path you were going to choose there for a minute.
I really wanted to kill them all.
I know you did, and I know that in your mind you were like, well, if they're all dead, I can just walk in and take what I want.
Then I was like, I don't know if the synthetic ones would eat necessarily. It would take forever. Yeah.
I don't think battery acid would take that long. I think that's more your problem. I think that the battery approach would kill them so quickly that the first few would die and the rest would be like, I'm not eating that. That's what I think your problem would be.
Right. It wouldn't. Yeah. No Jonestown.
In general, like when you're doing any sort of guard shift, like everybody doesn't eat at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, all the other guards come back to the mess hall and they're like, why is everybody dead? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I've been trained by what is that? The Morrowind Shadow of War game, where you could poison the orcs.
Ah.
Poison their grog.
Yeah, you poison their grog, and then like 5 of them just immediately go and drink it.
See, I'm trained by playing Hitman, and if you get the target with poison and you can just walk away, it doesn't matter that the rest of them find the body. They're like, oh my god! You poison a guard, and they find the body. The target's like, oh my god, and then they won't do the thing. Yeah. So you got to get the first one. Like that first person you get, that's the person you're gonna get.
Right. Well, thank you. It was fun.
It went very well. You guys made lots of really good decisions, and were a couple of points that were very creative. I'm very happy with how everything came out. I hope you guys are impressed with the new ship and the crew, and you guys got the medallion from the first episode finally. Although you still don't know what they were going to use it for. But the involvement of the military and the obvious discourse between the crew of the Zenith and Discovery and the Imperial Axis personnel is certainly noticeable. It's also worth noting that only the people of APEP seem to be here. Even though they're only a third of the people as part of the Axis powers, they seem to have driven this whole thing.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I hadn't thought about that.
They're also the ones that spaced all those Brilliant.
Confirmed. Keep wondering about that now. Now I know. Apex.
So, anyway, Thanks everybody for stopping by on the stream, and we will see you next time.